Fox Sports.
We're in a business of results, and the results weren't there. And they weren't there for a period of time. The evaluation that we made basically drew us to the conclusion that change was necessary, hopefully to bring a new energy to the club and to the organization, and so we made the decisions that we announced on yesterday.
And as most of you have heard, truly a bittersweet day for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Jerry DiPono takes over as interim general manager. Kirk Gibson, legendary baseball player, now beginning his managerial career. It all gets started with the rivals in town. Gibson makes his debut against the club. Boy, he hit that huge home run for the Dodgers against the A's. All the action is brought to you by our good friends and partners with Blue Bell Ice Cream. And on this holiday weekend, happy 4th of July weekend, one and all, red, white, and blue, and our troops being honored by Kirk Gibson, the manager of these Diamondbacks. We'll see both of these clubs wear those hats tonight. Hello there, folks. Welcome back to the ballpark. He's Tom Candiotti. My name is Darren Sutton. Certainly a day of change, about the last 24 hours of change for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They struggled really, Tom, if you want to go back all the way since about May 2008, one of the lowest winning percentages in all of Major League Baseball. But again, for the second time in 2 years, it comes to a head. This time, manager A.J. Hinch and executive vice president and general manager Josh Burns are replaced.
Yeah, I mean, you really look at it's the players, and look at it, as much as AJ can try to make all the difference in the world, or Bob Melvin could try to make all the difference in the world, it's all about performance. You heard Ken Kendrick say it. You know, it's all about wins, and it's all about, you know, getting results out there, and they just have not got the results. And like you said before, this is 2 managers now that these players have gone through.
It's a tough legacy, certainly, for a lot of these Diamondback players. Hopefully they turn it around under the watchful eye of Kirk Gibson. Let's go inside of that press conference room with several reactions today.
This is not an easy business. I mean, I've said this when I got involved in it. I thought it would be hard. I can say honestly, I didn't think it would be this hard. Does that mean I'm discouraged? Absolutely not. Does that mean that I've lost any passion for making a contribution to having our enterprise be a successful one? Absolutely no way.
There's a culture issue, too. You know, we've done a tremendous job changing the culture in the front office, and now we're really focusing on the culture in the clubhouse and on the field. And, you know, it needs to be fluid throughout, and the expectations need to be there, unselfish play needs to be there, and ultimately winning needs to be there.
To see a fiery team on the field playing with fire would not make me mad. And we will try to encourage my teammates to not be afraid of maybe pushing that envelope.
So Kirk Gibson begins his managerial career. We will watch very closely tonight. But the one thing we did not want to overlook is that Edwin Jackson is on the mound. And last time out, Jackson threw just the second no-hitter in franchise history. Is Johnny Vandermeer? Does he hear that knocking on the door? Could it be back-to-back for Edwin? Either way, we will celebrate what he did in Tampa Bay. Then a new era begins for the Diamondbacks in that dugout. Good friends and partners, Bluebell Ice Cream. It was all the way back in 1938. The Boston Braves, the Brooklyn Dodgers, on the other end of the Cincinnati Reds, 24-year-old Johnny Vandermeer. He threw back-to-back no-hitters. The only time it has ever happened. But let's relive the one last Friday in Tampa. Edwin, take us through the last batters.
I'm going for the gusto right here. I'm throwing it hard as I can over the middle of the plate and let it fly. And I saw it hit, and I was like, that's a ground ball off the bat. And I probably put my hand up before anybody in the stadium. And the first thing I did was put my hand up and just watch the plays. Like, going to second? No. Going to first? No. Where is he going? And I probably watched the play the whole time. Watched it at second. And like, no, not going to second. Okay, watch it at first. But it was definitely a great feeling, though, once that ball was put in play, and I knew it was going to be an out.
Our Geico quote, 149 pitches. Kirk Gibson takes over, exchanging the lineup card with bench coach Bob Schaefer just a moment ago. It's the Dodgers, it's the Diamondbacks, all the action on Fox Sports Arizona. The River Casino's proud partner of the Diamondbacks, Bluebell Ice Cream, reminding you July is National Ice Cream Month. Southwest Airlines, southwest.com, grab your bag. It is on. Sanderson Ford and Lincoln Mercury. You bet. Love to see that. We've been talking about it. Detroit Tigers hat on. You remember what Edwin was able to do in Detroit as well. And got a nice ovation as he went out to warm up. Edwin goes back to work after throwing 149 pitches in the second no-hitter in Diamondbacks history. We're underway at Chase Field. Glad to have you with us tonight. The right-hander grew up in the Georgia area through most of his formidable years. Misses outside. 2-0 the counter, Rafael Furcal.
Well, let's see if he can pull a Johnny Vandermeer tonight.
Wouldn't that be great? All the way back in 1938. 24 years old, did it to the Boston Braves and did it to the Brooklyn Dodgers. As that one is fouled off, the Dodgers were on the other end. The numbers delivered by our good friends with the UPS store. And here's the key for Jackson. Since his ERA was about 8, 6 starts in, it's just over 3. His last 10 starts, his ERA is 3.13. 7 2/3 innings pitched per start in his last 10 starts. Right to the first baseman. Adam LaRoche is there to haul it in on a knuckling line drive. Let's take a look at the entire lineup as penciled in by future Hall of Fame skipper Joe Torre. For Hall has been red hot. Kemp certainly hits well here in this ballpark. Andre Ethier has always hit his home team here in Arizona. It's Loney, Blake, Garrett Anderson. What a great career. Russell Martin, Blake DeWitt, Hiroki Kuroda. Joe Torre beginning his managerial career as a player manager with the Mets back in the 70s.
Well, you don't hear that term anymore, player manager. Where's that gone?
And there were a lot of losses in the beginning for Joe Torre, a lot of them out of the gates. Now I think looked at, and we've had a chance to have conversations as Kirk Gibson makes his managerial debut. Conversations with the likes of Bobby Cox and Tony La Russa. And then, of course, Joe Torre. Numbers 3, 4, and 5 on the all-time list. It's incredible that they're active. 3, 4, and 5 on baseball's all-time list.
Still amazing. Now, Joe Torre, a lot of people don't remember Joe Torre. He was an MVP. He had a 363 one year. And you know he's not getting too many infield hits. He was quite some player.
1-2 the count. Good-looking slider to Matt Kemp. Kemp 267, 13 home runs, 43 batted in. He's got 10 stolen bases. Did not have a good month of June. And look at Edwin, a strikeout. That looked like a nice two-seam fastball sinking down and in. That tied up Matt Kemp. That was nasty.
It certainly was. Watch this thing fall down and in. Kemp likes the ball out over the plate. That ball came down and in. Perfect place to pitch him, and he chased over it and swung over the top of it.
So now Andre Ethier. Ethier battling that broken pinky finger for quite a while this year. Still hitting .312. 12 home runs, 47 batted in. The other way, Reynolds on a backhand. Off balance. Oh, got it. Nice way to start things for the Diamondbacks. Ah, love is in the air. Come on, Dad, change your hat. League manager, he called it a bittersweet day, saying he had a lot of respect for those that taught him, that came before him, Bob Melvin and A.J. Hinch. Let's take a look at Kirk Gibson's lineup, and right away you will notice a difference. Chris Young batting leadoff, back to the top of the lineup. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Kelly bats second now. Justin Upton third, Montero batting cleanup. Reynolds, LaRoche, Abreu. One more day for Stephen Drew. That knee still barking. Got to get him back out there. It's Parra, then it's Edwin Jackson. Again, Southwest.com. 35-year-old right-hander out of Osaka, Japan. Hiroki Kuroda, his third season in the big leagues this year. 7-5 with a respectable 3.27.
Yeah, pretty good stuff. He's got a fastball, a slider, and a split, basically. He'll kind of set you up and then try to put you away with the slider or the split finger.
So Young back to the top of the order. He was Detroit's hero. He is our hero. Certainly the fans echoing that sentiment. As that first pitch is high to Chris Young. We watched him for several years at the top of the order. We see him dig in, hitting .261 as that one sails high and inside. 14 home runs, 52 batted in, and an on-base percentage of .325.
You know, at the leadoff spot, though, he can be a difference maker. Having that rare combination of speed and power. And this is a different Chris Young right now. This is a more mature Chris Young. And, yeah, he can pop the ball out of the park. And I know as a pitcher, to start the game off, the first thing you want to do is try to locate your fastball, get the feeling of that fastball. And Chris has got that ability to pop one out of here.
Boy, you saw those leadoff home runs he hit back in 2007 as he takes a strike, 3-1. On base percentage at about .310 that year, so you'd love to see it a little bit higher, and maybe with who he is as a hitter now, you will. I think you naturally will. Hot shot, you like that. Base hit left field. Fastball right at the belt. Honestly, Kuroda lucky it stayed in the ballpark when you throw a pitch like that. So Young is on. He's got 13 stolen bases.
Well, 3-1 is a hitter's count. It's a go count all the way. He's dialed up for a fastball. He gets it middle in and just delivers a crushing blow to left field. Any elevation at all, that ball's still going.
So in the 2-hole now is Kelly Johnson. Johnson on base percentage this year of .364. Kelly has struck out 70 times as he takes a slider that darts over the inside corner. You can see the runner at first. We have our 4th of July Fox box up top by the scores. The star with the runner at first. Red, white, and blue. Happy holiday weekend to you, Candyman.
Yeah, you too.
And to the folks out there, we trust you have a great weekend planned with family and friends and your loved ones. Johnson tops that one foul. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Belong to the business of baseball because it's been a lot about the business of business. These Diamondbacks were 3-3 on the recent road trip. They were 2-1 in Tampa. Probably should have played better in St. Louis. Gave one away late in the ball game. Should have been 2-1 in both towns. But for a club that has struggled so mightily on the road this year, 3-3, you find yourself accepting average, and let's hope that changes. That one kicks away. Martin did everything he could. My goodness, that is the definition of a wild pitch. So Chris Young in scoring position.
Well, that ball just ate him up. You know, Russell Martin is very good behind the plate defensively. He's very mobile, very good at blocking balls, but really didn't have much of a chance on this one. A splitter that hit him probably about 6 feet in front of the home plate, bounced up and got by him. There's not much you can do about that.
So now with 2 strikes, a little bit more of a challenge for Kelly Johnson. Obviously, you have to protect, but if he can get one to that right side, move that runner to third. A little bit of little ball for the man, Texas born and raised. Originally a Braves high draft pick. The 1-2. Tried to, didn't he?
He did. He's trying to roll over the top of that little ground ball to the right side.
So it's fastball. As you can see, the timely hitting for Kelly. Split finger and slider, is that correct?
Yeah, an occasional curveball, but mostly slider.
Okay.
Slider's his best secondary pitch. But he'll also 4-seam it, he'll 2-seam it. He's crafty.
A crafty righty. We've seen a few of those. We saw Jeff Suppan last time out, a crafty righty. Play him to pull in the infield a step or two. Again, a challenge there. That one spiked into the dirt. That's a split-fingered fastball, correct?
Yes, that's what it was. And Kelly being very disciplined and lays off that. His job right now is to get Chris Young over to third base. He can get himself a base hit to center, base hit to right, great, but the most important thing is to get on the board first. Get Young over to third base.
Hot shot, base hit, right field, left the slider out over the plate. Come on down, Chris Young. The Diamondbacks leading 1-0 over the visiting Dodgers. For Johnson, RBI number 36. Gibson's club gets out front with some timely hits. He tried to pull the ball, but he didn't just try and baby it over there.
This ball was elevated. It looked like a slider trying to be on the back door, possibly a splitter. But Johnson stayed back and drilled this ball to right field. He's trying to roll over the top, hit that ball to right. He got enough of that and drilled it into right field. So instead of getting him over, he got him in.
So now Justin Upton. Runner at first in Johnson. Johnson with 6 stolen bases. Upton on a roll. That one darts over the inside corner with a fastball. Upton 20 for his last 50. That's in 2 weeks worth of games. That's a 400 clip. 7 extra base hits. And in those 50 at bats, just 10 strikeouts. He terrorized New York and Tampa, those 2 series in succession.
He likes the American League.
I mean, terrorized him. Kelly takes off. Kelly with a stolen base. That was a slider there, and Morton tried to backhand it, so Johnson with his 7th stolen base of the year.
Love that. Diamondbacks really playing aggressive baseball here. Johnson takes off. Straight steal. He gets in there easily. Martin can't handle that pitch.
I don't know if he'll still have time to do it as the skipper, but base running 101 is held about once a week out on the base pads, and the instructor is Kirk Gibson. He will walk the diamond all the way around, base to base. Good slider. 1-2 the count. Something tells me that instructive side of him won't change.
No, not at all. And when you talk to Gibby, in between games, after games, just even around the hotel, he'll always talk about the quickness, the times, all the time. What a pitcher does that you can read. I mean, he is a student of the game. There's no question about that.
1-2 the count. He found a pitcher's meeting in the outfield. You remember he shared with us in the pregame about how Sparky Anderson, he learned the most because Sparky would walk around everywhere. Gibby walking out, and he found a pitcher's meeting at some point, talking with all the guys. And when he arrived, he was talking about, I need runners closer. I don't need runners running like they are right now. And I expect that to change. Diamondbacks have been a team that have really been easy to steal on all year long, and it's the natural thing to just put it all on the catcher. Well, the pitcher has responsibilities there too.
Well, most of the time it is the pitcher. Most of the time base runners are going to steal off the pitcher. Guys that are slower to the plate, guys that are 1.35 or higher to the plate, very easy to steal on. Gives the catcher almost no chance at all to make a throw. Usually a catcher's getting that ball down there in 2 seconds or less. And I mean, if you're going to be that long as a pitcher, then he's going to have no chance.
You saw Dan Herron. He works Sunday against Chad Billingsley on July the 4th. Tomorrow, Clayton Kershaw. What a gifted young man against Rodrigo Lopez. Slider. Jammed himself. Loney gives it a lug with a slide because he was running out of space.
Almost looked like Justin was letting that ball travel a little bit, trying to shoot that ball to right field. He knows what he's trying to do right now. He wants to get Kelly Johnson over to third base. Give Miguel Montero a whack at getting him in.
By the way, Glenn Sherlock, longtime Diamondback bullpen coach, is back in as the bench coach. This is a bunch that is one coach short until they slide someone into that bench coach position. Ball 4. Upton earns a walk for the 36th time this year. Let's take a look at the defense for the Dodgers. Garrett Anderson in left, Matt Kemp, Gold Glover in center, Ethier in right, Blake for Call, DeWitt, James Loney in first, and Russell Martin is behind the plate catching Hiroki Kuroda. Garrett Anderson certainly been at it for a long time, over 2,000 hits in his big league career with one club, the Angels. He's been a Brave and a Dodger. Manny is not available for sure today at all, maybe the entire weekend. Health a concern for Manny Ramirez. Injured right hamstring, inflammation in the area, as that one is over the outside corner. 0-1 the count.
Yeah, Montero's a hitter that will go line to line. See Manny looking on. But he likes the ball out over the plate. There's a big gap out in left center field, and he'll attack that gap with a fastball away.
Pick off. Oh, boy, they've got it. They absolutely have it. Upton goes down in a pile. And so gunned down is Justin Upton. And a nice play there, too, by the duo at catcher and at first base with Martin and Loney.
Yeah, we've seen Martin try to do this a lot in the past. They like to throw behind the trail runner. Of course, Kelly Johnson on second, Upton at first base. Your job as that trail runner is to keep your eyes focused on that lead runner. He got caught napping there.
He leads the majors now with 5 catcher pickoffs. 5 times he has done that. That pitch sails away. 2-1 the count. So the rare walk, I mean, this is a gentleman that walks only about 2 for every 9 innings. The rare walk is gone, erased. Outside. 3-1 the count to Miguel Montero. Don't forget, every time a D-back hits a home run this season, Fulton Homes donates $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. I jumped in on you. My apologies.
Sometimes when you watch Montero, the way he takes some pitches, is you can tell the way he's seeing the ball. And it looks like he's seeing the ball very well right now off Kuroda.
Slider up. You never want to throw them there, but sometimes they're so darn effective. The hitter never looks for a slider at the chest.
I'll tell you a funny story. I was playing for the Cleveland Indians. Bob Feller would come in every spring training, and Bob would tell us, if you can't get a guy out, throw him the high change. Here's a guy that threw the ball 100 miles an hour. And that's what that pitch really was. Not where he's trying to throw it. A mistake pitch all the way. A hitter's count, 3-1. And you end up getting a cheap strike like that.
Kuroda's ERA in the first is nearly 9, by the way. Popped foul. He has given up 13 runs in his 15 starts. In the remaining innings, he's only given up 25 more, so you get him in the first.
Well, there's a lot of good pitchers that struggle to find their rhythm and their tempo. And it takes a little bit to get into the game. And if you can get him early, Tom Glavine was a perfect example of that. A guy that just took a long time to get his rhythm. If you can get him in the first couple innings, you got a good chance of getting it, because he's going to settle down after that.
He's handled the Diamondbacks twice this year. That's inside, and another walk in the inning. Is that just a rhythm thing? I mean, what are some of the ways that a pitcher combats that, those first inning blues?
What you do is you try to spend a little bit more time down in the bullpen, and maybe you might have to throw a few extra pitches, but I think, some of the pitching coaches that I've had, they will make you go down there and pitch not only to the first 3 batters of the game, but pitch through the lineup a little bit. Pitch through and know what your scouting report is, how you're going to try to get these guys out, and execute those pitches down there so it's your game ready when you get in. And I think that really helps out a lot of pitchers that have all this energy, and all of a sudden now you become a maximum effort pitcher at the very beginning of the game, and you end up overthrowing the ball.
And we talk about this coaching staff out there piecing things together against a pitcher who struggles in the first inning. You call down to the bullpen and you say, well, what's? Oh, well, Blaine Boyer's answering the pen now. No coach down there. They don't know what to do.
They're policing themselves.
Maybe that's not such a bad thing. That one is outside. 1-0 the count.
Now look, when you're on this level right now, if you can't get yourself ready to go into the game in your role, something's wrong.
1-0 the count. Mark Reynolds. 18 home runs, 50 runs batted in. There's another Diamondback trying to let a ball travel deeper in his stance.
That was a good hack right there. He had a ball that he could handle right there. Just watching his head, he was down on the ball. He didn't pull off this ball. His head right down on that, right through that. That was a good swing, good pass of the ball. He just didn't connect it up. But this is where you can do the damage. One big ball right here. And you can do some big damage now.
Two and one the count. Kirk Gibson was sharing with all of us before the game today that when he broke in, he was a caged animal like a Mark Reynolds, a talented, high talent level, high volatility level athlete. He struck out a lot. He said, I was able to learn. And we'll share in a minute, if we have a chance, his expectations of his club. Hot shot, base hit, left field. Another slider that was up. Mark Reynolds stayed back nicely. The Diamondbacks lead it 2-0 for Reynolds. 51 RBIs this year. Kelly Johnson, who reached earlier in the inning with a single, come on down.
Another good at bat for Mark Reynolds. He was right on that last ball that he fouled off. This time was a slider, like you said. He stayed on it, drilled that ball to left field. That's a big hit, a big situation. I think Bo Porter knows over there at third base also. Garrett Anderson does not throw that well. And he doesn't move that well out there. So if that ball's hit out there, you got a great chance to take that extra base on him.
Strike over the inside corner to Adam LaRoche.
I think one of the biggest duties of a third base coach is to get to know the outfield arms on the opposing team.
And he does that.
Oh, yeah, he studies big time.
The 0-1. Boy, good pitch. Now that's a solid split-fingered fastball.
You're exactly right. That ball just fell off the table. The key to throwing a good split is you got to start the ball just above the knee. And once it starts above the knee, you're throwing it on a downhill angle, and that ball's going to go straight down. The guys that throw splits get in trouble when they start the ball about waist high. Then you don't get that big dip.
Porter keeps an eye on those arms in the outfield. The 0-2. Got him up and away. Kirk Gibson reflecting on his days as a young hitter and his expectations for his current squad.
Well, I was the animal that used to strike out. And I was a pull hitter. But I changed. So my mentality is that you can change and you can make adjustments. And if you choose to. And furthermore, we're at least going to try and change. We're not just going to keep doing the same thing that's not being successful. That I will try and accomplish.
I love that. You know, what he's talking about is keep an open mind. Don't get complacent on the type of player that you are. You can always strive to get better. You can improve on the things that you're doing well and also improve on the things that you're struggling with.
The 1-0. Shot the other way. Boy, did Abreu need that. He was freezing this one. One run, come on down, a double for Abreu. That snaps an 0 for 19. He hit about a buck in June. Those sliders, those hanging sliders have so far been the death of Corota.
Well, it certainly has. I mean, but even though the pitcher's out there throwing hangers, you want to make sure you don't miss those hangers. And he did. That was a good job of hitting that ball down the left field line. Elevate it. If you hang it, we'll bang it. And he did. He smacked it. Actually, a very nice play by Garrett Anderson, cutting that ball off. If that ball gets by him, he'll probably get another run right there.
So Abreu, good to see. Boy, really good to see. 3-0, Arizona leads it. 0-1 the count. Montero seemed a little bit hot under the collar about something. We can't really in our replay see why.
Came around and scored right there. I don't know if it was something with Corota backing up or something with Russell Martin.
0-2 the count. Parr chases up and out of the zone.
Parr has a tough time getting to the inside fastball. He likes hitting that ball out over the plate. You'll see him get a lot of base hits, you know, from the left field foul line out to center field. But he likes the ball away. He likes to extend his arms and shoot the ball in the opposite gap.
Parra 0 for 10 against the Dodgers this year. Look out, Bo Porter. Goodness gracious. That's an athlete, folks. You might know the outfield arms. He looks like he could go play in the outfield with those moves.
It's easy to laugh now, Bo. Wasn't laughing a second ago. And right now, see, Bo is focused on over there at second base. I mean, he's trying to pick up, make sure that everyone's all right with Abreu over at second base. He's not getting picked off. So he's not focused on that ball off the bat.
Gibby says he wants his players to be flexible, like this flexible. Golly, that's scary.
He could do the mambo.
Looks like he's in the Matrix, the movie The Matrix there. The 1-2. Split-fingered fastball stays up and away. 2-2 the count. 3-0 the Diamondbacks lead it.
How about that? 38 pitches right now that made him throw. What a great job, the hitters this inning.
And that first inning has been his Bermuda Triangle. Runners on second and third. Outside. 3-2 the count.
Kuroda knows that Edwin Jackson, the pitcher, is on deck. I don't think he's going to give Parra anything good to hit here with an open base.
The fourth 3-ball count this inning. The Dodgers, of course, come in 8 games over 500. 2.5 back of the San Diego Padres in second place in the National League West. Three-2 off the plate. We'll do it again. Kuroda this year, only 4 times has he had 2 walks in an inning. Check that. In his career here in the big leagues, this is his 3rd season here, only 2 walks in an inning. Last time out against the Yankees in the first inning, last outing. In his 2+ seasons. Slapper out to third. Blake is there in time for the out, but the Diamondbacks start out with some fireworks on this holiday weekend. Up ahead, and he has been dealing. The runner goes, throw down, got him! The 0-2 pitch, fastball, ground ball, middle of the diamond. Stephen Drew fields, fires, he did it! Edwin Jackson just threw the second no-hitter in Diamondbacks history. Our Chaz Roberts cool play, another tip of the cap to Edwin Jackson, who in 149 beautiful pitches escaped 7 walks in the first 3 innings, including walking the bases loaded to throw a no-hitter.
Yeah, and look at all the joy that team had. And, let's not forget that manager A.J. Hinch let him go out there and complete that no-hitter.
And he was second-guessed by current managers. He was second-guessed by former managers who, for me, that just rubbed me the wrong way to hear a lot of that from guys who don't even have managerial jobs right now. 1-0 the count. And you're right. I love the quote when he said, "We stopped counting at 115.
Just go out and do it.
That one is fouled off.
Well, what really brought Edwin into that no-hitter when he had all those command issues early was throwing the slider. And in order to throw a good breaking ball or a good slider, you got to keep that front shoulder closed. And that brought him in, that locked him back in, and he became just dazzling after that. And I think he learned a big lesson.
Two and one the count. Got on the side of that one. We'll watch the arm angle, certainly. Dontrell Willis down in the bullpen now, a left-hander out of that bullpen. He also is, to me, given a bit of credit because for the first couple of innings he was wild. He found him. He reminded him of his stuff, told him to stay over the rubber. He left him alone. Over the outside, 3-2 the count. In the last few batters, Edwin Still was averaging 94 miles an hour with his fastball.
And pitching down. Not laboring whatsoever.
Bouncing ball. There's a base hit. So there will be no hitter tonight for Edwin Jackson.
Johnny Vandermeer, you're safe.
Johnny Vandermeer is again safe. So Loney with a single.
See, when you see a base hit like this, doesn't it just bring how special it is to be able to throw a no-hitter?
Yes.
That's a 4-hop ground ball that threw the, just happened to be hit in the right place.
And it really does. He throws ground balls. That's when he's at his best. He has really evolved as a ground ball pitcher. As a matter of fact, his ground outs versus air outs, about 1.3 to 1, league average about 1.1. He's well above where he's been in his career. Like it or not, he's become a ground ball pitcher. We talked about that in San Diego when we worked together.
And I think that's where he really kind of got the ground ball idea. Really started using his two-seam fastball that day, and I think he got, I want to say, 13 ground ball outs.
He did. He did, and he also has been the beneficiary of 11 double plays rolled up, well above what we would see in his career as well. I guess it needs to be pointed out as a housekeeping item. Mel Stoudemire Jr., Jack Howell. We've seen Bo Porter, Matt Williams, Glenn Sherlock. They have all remained on as coaches for the Diamondbacks. Jack, kind of a bittersweet day, he said. And as he spent throughout the day, they've all spoken with their former boss, the guy who brought him in there. They reflected on the opportunity and decided to come back to work. All of them to a man saying it wasn't easy. And I understand that.
No, they're jobs for them, too. It's a job for them. There's a lot of, you go both ways for it. You try to put yourself in their shoes. What would you do?
Right.
It's just a lot different. Everyone has to make their own decisions.
Jerry Dipoto, the interim general manager, with his lieutenants up there. As that one is over the inside corner, 3-1 the count. I need to give Jerry proper credit. In the brief little press conference we had today, I talked about his service time in the minor leagues of 8 years. He had big league service time of 8 years. I didn't want to shortchange him.
Well, he had to work for everything that he got.
A lot of games out of the bullpen. Relief pitcher, correct?
Yes. I think he had some starts, but mostly out of the bullpen.
Oh, you'll be rubbing your eyes a lot now, sir. Get ready for many sleepless nights.
That's right. He's got that degree, though, that MLB degree.
The 3-1. It bounces in there. Trying to find things. You talked about it. The off-speed pitch. Edwin, after the no-hitter, reflected on how that changed his night.
I resorted to off-speed. Obviously, if I wasn't throwing a fastball for the strikes, I was able to throw off speed, slider, change up, curve for strikes, and that's pretty much what resurrected my game. I'm pretty much the whole third inning after that, it was pretty much all off speed, and they didn't make the adjustment, so I wasn't going to make the adjustment. I just kept throwing them, and it worked.
So basically he had a mechanical problem. He was flying open with his front shoulder, and that he was end up pulling the ball down and in, or he was throwing the ball up and away. So by calling a breaking ball by Montero, he keeps that front shoulder closed and driving towards home plate. And when that's the only way you can throw an effective breaking ball, a breaking ball for strikes. And then all of a sudden, once you do that a few times, you lock in, and then you're able to throw that fastball where you want to.
That was interesting. He started Garrett off with a changeup there as we were speaking of that.
And he's feeling that. I mean, he's a guy that's running that ball up there at times at 97 miles an hour. He's got a lot of giddy up on it. So he's getting a lot of drive off his back leg. So mechanics become very, very important to him.
Garrett, the longtime American leaguer with the Angels, enjoyed his time in the American League, one of the few Dodgers. He hit .385 in interleague play, 10 for 26, a lot of time as a DH. Ground ball could be two. Johnson, Abreu can't get it out of his glove. He still got it.
Tony Abreu hung in on that play.
Literally.
I mean, a hard hit ground ball by Anderson. A nice play by Johnson. A nice feed to Abreu. Trouble with the transfer. Trying to avoid the tag or the breakup going in there. And he stayed in there, got the ball, and still made the throw and completed the double play. Well, he really picked up his pitcher there.
There's something going on between Russell Martin and Miguel Montero. And when Montero scored, he was upset about something. I don't know what was said or what was done. But Gary Darling just stepped out and had a few words for both of them. They were both chirping to one another here a moment ago.
Well, Martin said something to Montero there after watching. He's mouthing back, and I love that. I love the fire. We're talking about fire and playing with passion. That's what you do. It looked like Russell Martin kind of gave him a slight shoulder move as he was getting closer to the plate and also said something to him. So there's a little history that's going back between these two guys.
The pitch is in. 2-0 the count.
And, of course, when Martin comes up, Montero gives it right back to him. I love that.
Right there in the middle of it all is Gary Darling making sure everything's good. 2-0 the count.
Well, Gary's got to have relationships with both these guys. I mean, these are the guys that are protecting him.
Remember earlier this year, Russell Martin with that slide to Stephen Drew.
High slide. We got some issues here. Casey Blake, I think the year before, had a little issue with him going into second base.
So that's an angry walk for Russell Martin as he fires that bat away. And here's Blake DeWitt. Well, I like it. I've been calling for a rhubarb for the last couple of weeks. Little Donnybrook. Kirk Gibson talking about owing the Dodgers. The Dodgers ruined their season a couple of years ago in 2008.
Came in here to Chase Field and swept us, right?
Yes, it was in that series that struggles from Dan Herron, struggles from Brandon Webb, and an aggressive Dodgers team. Derek Lowe had never pitched well here. He pitched a wonderful ball game. That 2008, Kirk Gibson certainly hasn't forgotten about it. Good changeup. First pitch to Blake DeWitt.
One of the things that Jackson has had trouble with this year is pitching with runners in scoring position. Right now, a .297 clip. He's given up 2 home runs. And if you take away last game when he was so effective with runners in scoring position, it was well over 300.
Changeup, fastball. So far, great sequence. Yeah, he really did drop that batting average with runners in scoring position. You walk that many guys and throw a no-hitter?
A no-hitter, there's a lot of guys on base.
I was following you down statistical highway there, and that made a lot of sense. 0-2 the count. DeWitt just 1 home run, 24 batted in. Edwin, of course, began his career as a Dodger. In his debut at 20. Here in this ballpark when he beat Randy Johnson. Montero blocking it up, and he'll hold on to it. So a wild pitch. Edwin with more wild pitches than anybody in baseball. He's got electric stuff, but a lot of times he'll either spike it in the dirt or he'll hit the bull on occasion.
Yeah, that's number 12 on the year for him. A nice block by Montero. I mean, again, that ball hit well in front of home plate. Had a high kick once it did hit the dirt, and Montero was able to deaden that ball and keep it in front of him with the guy on third base.
Trying to stay away from the walk, 2 in this inning. 58 walks in the last handful of ball games since June 22nd. Shot. Johnson can't get there. How big is that wild pitch now? Russell Martin come on down. 3-2 the score.
Well, again, we were just talking about timely pitching, situational pitching, pitching with runners in scoring position. That's the situations that if you do well in those, you're going to win baseball games. This was a high-hanging slider, it looked like, and he pulled that ball to right field, hit it hard, just gets over Johnson's head. Up the field, the ball doesn't feel like he has a play to the plate. And there's 2 more runs to score.
Kuroda takes a pitch that is low. Jackson coming off that no-hitter. The other 3 that have thrown no-hitters this year in their following outings. Halladay beat San Diego, gave up 2 runs. Ubaldo Jimenez beat Washington. Didn't give up. I don't think he ever gives up any runs. But he went 7 1/3, and he beat Washington. And Dallas Braden against the Angels lost in his next outing, but he went 8 innings and gave up 4 runs. And again, Edwin Jackson with some extra time off. He pitched a week ago through 149 pitches. He wanted to pitch Wednesday. He made it clear he wanted to pitch Wednesday to his former manager. 2-1. What are you seeing? You see things that we don't see mechanically, arm angle, things like that. What are you seeing?
Well, I think we see a lot of the things that we see from Kuroda early on. You know, the one thing with Edwin is watch his front shoulder. If that thing flies open, then he's going to have trouble locating.
So we'll continue to watch under the watchful eye of Tom Candiotti. Couple of runs across the plate, a huge wild pitch, and some big walks.
They've taken advantage of certain things that we've done. We need to try and stop that tonight. You know, my goal is to be a world champion again. It's just so much fun. It's the ultimate accomplishment. And, you know, really, I really would just love to have these guys be quite honest with you. We've had some competitions with them this year. They've gotten the best of us. They've taken advantage of certain things that we've done. We need to try and stop that tonight. You know, my goal is to be a world champion again. It's just so much fun. It's the ultimate accomplishment. And, you know, really, I really would just love to have these guys experience what it really means to accomplish that and what it takes to do so.
The words of interim manager Kirk Gibson, 1988 most valuable player as a Dodger, speaking of the score that he has to settle with that club. And part of that is the Dodgers have won 8 games this year. The Diamondbacks have won 1. Remember, at the end of the worst road trip in the history of this franchise, they were walked off 3 consecutive ball games by the Dodgers. 3 consecutive ball games. You bet they have a score to settle. That was, for those guys in white, as embarrassing of a road trip as many of them have ever been a part of.
Well, you think back to those walk-offs. You recall the balk. You recall the play to Steven. Did he end up throwing the ball up in the stands? I mean, it was just crazy, crazy walk-offs. Not your normal ones.
No. 1-2 the count. Edwin Jackson, base hit center field. You see, in the American League, there's this dastardly thing called the designated hitter. Just an abomination to the game. Edwin Jackson gets a chance to hit, and look what he does. His 5th hit of the year.
He's a good athlete. He gets a high-hanging slider. Doesn't do a lot with it, but just hits it right back up the middle. Sometimes good athletes can overcome a lot of mechanical flaws, and he certainly did.
And it's interesting, we speak of the National League, and Gibson, a lot of time as a Dodger, but a lot of time as a Tiger. And as a bench coach for 3 years as a Tiger and for 3+ years as a Diamondback. It's a different game that Kirk Gibson steps into as a manager with the pitcher hitting in the National League.
Yeah, it's a lot different than managing in the American League.
You bet.
I mean, the bench becomes a big end to play, having options, and options in the bullpen becomes big. And then you try to get the best matchup that you could possibly get.
Didn't mean to. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Chris Young batting leadoff. Mark McClune with some thoughts. What'd you find out?
Well, yeah, he's rewarding Kirk Gibson for showing faith in him. CY hitting just 100 on the last road trip, 2 for 20. But Chris Young just walked in the clubhouse today, looked at the lineup card, and said, "I'm batting leadoff, a place he hadn't been for a while." Kirk Gibson saying he wants to run his team out on the field, and obviously that team is Chris Young in the #1 position on the lineup card.
Good stuff this time after a huge hit to get things going, get some momentum starting. He's beaten with the slider away. That's part of being a manager. I mean, the decision to run your team out there.
Well, I think he also likes the speed that Chris Young brings to the top of the order. The ability to be able to steal a base, the ability to be able to hit a home run also. And he's got such a good 2-strike approach this year, more so than he's had in the past. You know, he's not striking out near as much, so I think it's good all the way around.
0-1 the count to Kelly Johnson. 3-2 the score.
You know, look, some hitters have the ability to be able to hit anywhere in the lineup. You know, because of their speed, because of their power, you know, because of hitting for average. You know, Chris Young is one of those guys. You know, he can hit throughout that lineup. I don't care if it's the top of the order, the middle of the order, or down in the order.
Split-fingered fastball, dives away. 1 ball and 1 strike the count to Kelly.
You've seen throughout the history of baseball and in different teams, some managers have taken their leadoff hitter and batted them in the #3 spot. I thought of Paul Molitor as one of those guys, as you know. Leadoff hitter most of his career, but yet, you know, as he got a little bit older, he was still such a good hitter that you put him right in that #3 spot.
Kelly lines it into center field. It's a base hit. So Johnson, 2 for 2 in the ball game. And he was just 4 of 18 on the trip. He's one of the guys that is representative of his entire squad that just hits better here at home, and it's not even close comparison to on the road. Listen.
That's a tough pitch, too. That was a split finger, and not a bad one either. Down, he went down and got that ball and just slashed that ball to center field.
Justin Upton, 4 of his last 5 with runners in scoring position. The home run and 3 RBIs. Slider outside to Upton.
They continue to make Kuroda work. 52 pitches now that he has thrown here, only in the 2nd inning. Pretty good hack there by Upton. Now Justin does have a little bit trouble with plate coverage, especially on the slider out on the outside part of the plate.
Off the plate there. It was a strike, but he missed his spot, so Russell reaching out. Want to remind everyone that anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell gives away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the next day at participating locations. Get the dark and the light jerseys there. T-shirts, 2 and 2 the count. We had a shot earlier in the ballgame that I loved. It was a Dodger dad. He had the Dodger jersey and the Dodger hat, but his son, there he is. I think that's really representative of baseball in the Valley. You know, the conversion that not only has gone on for 12 years, but will be going on for the next 50. I mean, it takes time.
That son with that D-backs hat, he has no idea.
We want dad to convert, but we're after the son. The 2-2. Right down the middle, got him with a slider, locked him up. Upton caught looking for something else. It looked like it anyway, didn't it?
He might have been expecting an inside fastball there, but Justin does have, most pitchers are going to try to throw the ball down and away. You saw Martin sit up, down and away. Again, he missed more towards the middle of the plate right there, but Justin just was not able to pull the trigger. He was looking for something else.
So Montero and Russell Martin in the same zip code again. Exchanged some words earlier when Montero came around to score. That one bounces into the dirt. Martin's got a look. He throws it away. And it cost the Dodgers a run. Edwin Jackson, come on down.
Great base running all the way around for the Diamondbacks. This happens because of a good secondary lead.
By the pitcher.
By the pitcher. Nice job. This ball hits in the dirt. As soon as it hits in the dirt, bounces up. Jackson's off the third. Martin has no interest in trying to get Edwin Jackson. He's looking at Kelly Johnson there at second base. Throws it away.
He centered it.
And a run comes in for the D-backs, and that's Edwin Jackson. Again, a good athlete. The dad's not clapping.
Come on, Dad. See things through our eyes. Popped up. Into the seats it goes. 1-1 the count to Miguel Montero. Walked and scored back in the first inning. Since last June, Miguel Montero hitting .328 since he took over. Really, barring the injury, he really would have played a lot more. But that's tops in the big leagues. Boy, an extended strike zone. 1-2 the count. Kuroda will take it.
Well, yes, he will. That ball was up, it was away, and somehow got called a strike.
1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Venezuelan-born Miguel Montero. Slaps it. It's a base hit left field. What a beautiful piece of hitting. Hustling on around. That knee looks all right as he hobbles into second. Miguel Montero goes the other way as he always has loved to do. That's a double. That's an RBI. 11 batted in this year, and the Diamondbacks add on again. 5-2.
Montero is such a good hitter. What makes him a good hitter is his ability to go line to line. That's a good split finger fastball. Down and away. He was fooled, but he kept his hands back, and he likes to hit the ball the other way. He enjoys going to left field or left center field, and because of that, he doesn't pull the ball. He goes with the pitch, and he gets it.
Come on, Dad.
He doesn't like what's going on.
Mom's kind of rubbing it in now. Well, that's good to see. And Kelly Johnson, you talk about the aggressive base running. Cashing in, and that is a trademark, something that is mandatory for Kirk Gibson. That's 155 now as Weaver walks. 155 two-out RBIs. Puts them in the top 5 in baseball. Well, there was a time, especially in the month of April, I know you clearly remember it, folks, you might too. So this was the team steamrolling other clubs offensively. That disappeared for a while. They've always been pretty consistent with 2 outs this year. What does that do to a pitcher?
It kills. It's a killer. You know that you're 1 out away from possibly getting out of the inning. And then all of a sudden you make a good pitch like that last one. A good splitter down and away. And all of a sudden Montero throws in a bat on you.
One more run, obviously, it's Tacos. We talked about that earlier. Got to get to the Taco run. They're 22-1 when they get to that Taco run.
D-backs already throwing 7 hits up there on the board.
They lead it 5-2. 0-1 the count.
Boy, you really like to cap this inning off with a long ball here.
Mark didn't like it. Perfect pitch, though. 0-2 the count. Had been a tick in.
Yeah, he got him with the slider away. Actually, a great slider first pitch. He swung and missed. Then he throws a 2-seamer down and in. He's expanded the strike zone, and now he's got Mark guessing right now.
And Reynolds goes the other way with it. Instead of a strikeout, it's a base hit and an RBI. That is a 2-strike approach right there. Satisfied to dump a Texas leaguer into right field, and because of it, his club leads 6-2.
And that's the beauty of making contact when you got 2 strikes. Runners in scoring position. A tough pitch probably would have been a ball, but he goes after that pitch and just tries to make contact. This isn't a home run cut. He's going out there trying to hit the ball the opposite way. Drops it in there for a big base hit and a big RBI. Well, that's got to feel good, Mark.
6 runs, obviously. So you folks enjoy your visit to Taco Bell tomorrow.
I don't think Russell Martin said anything to Montero that time when he was crossing the plate.
Joe Torre is going to make a change. Remember, in his career, a 3.45 ERA, 3.45 against the Diamondbacks. Joe Torre will remove Kuroda from this ball game. Knocked around by the Yankees last time out. The Diamondbacks take him to school this evening.
The Arizona Diamondbacks chasing Hiroki Kuroda for the game for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Tonight's starting pitcher might have been dealing with some psychological problems, the impact of pitching at Chase Field. Now, we talked about his first inning struggles, but Kuroda said he struggled a lot last year and for a long time in spring training with flying open. It was a mechanical problem caused by trying to get into a good defensive position. Kuroda was struck by a line drive last year off the bat of Rusty Ryle. It was a very scary moment, and one where Kuroda was carried out on a stretcher. Next day he was fine, but said the negative thoughts really caused him to have that mechanical problem. And it's kind of like being in a car crash. You never forget. It was a scary moment, guys. Good to see him okay, and the Diamondbacks in business here in the second inning.
Certainly a tough memory. Veteran Jeff Wegever takes over, the shortest outing of his career, the second shortest, as you see the numbers for kind of a stunt man, Weaver. Long guy, he'll start if you need him. He'll pitch in extra innings if you need him. He's in the big leagues, though, still doing it. And doing it pretty well.
He certainly has. He's got that rubber arm. He pitched multiple days in a row, multiple innings. I mean, this is one of the things we talked about, a manager having options. And he brings Joe Torre a lot of options down there. He can extend them. He doesn't have to extend them. He can be tough on righties with that slider. He has the ability to drop down.
Reynolds is gone. The throw down. Not in time. Stolen base. Mark Reynolds.
Well, you just love the fact right now that they're playing very aggressive baseball, but also executing.
Right. Not just for the sake of aggression.
Yeah, absolutely. Reynolds really hasn't been running much this year compared to last year, but he got a good jump right there, and Weaver not very quick to the plate. Gibby said he's a master of knowing times, and he sent him right there, and he got in there.
So an RBI opportunity for Adam LaRoche. Breaking ball drops in there. 1-2 the count. You know, Jeff is fun because he goes about it like we did when we were kids in the backyard. You know, if you have somebody that stood a little close to that taped up home plate on the wall, you know, you can maybe throw it sidearm and scare him a little bit. I think when you get to that point in your career, you're really just letting it go, and he's had a lot of success. Fastball blows him away at 92. CEO of the Diamondbacks, Derek Hall, will join us about these challenging couple of days, but the Diamondbacks, they've been challenged tonight. We owed the Dodgers, said their manager, Kirk Gibson. We haven't forgotten about 2008 and the fact that they have owned us this year. The Arizona Diamondbacks, Derek Hall, joins us. And first of all, Derek, you guys arrived at what I know is a tough decision for everyone involved, but a decision that I will have you reflect on before we move forward. How tough was it in the days and weeks leading up to last night and then today?
Well, it was definitely tough. I mean, this is the part of the job that we don't enjoy, and when you have to make decisions about people who have families and livelihoods, it's difficult. But that's the nature of these jobs, and we're in the business of results, and we just honestly haven't had them recently. And you look at really the last 2 going into 3 years where the wins haven't been there. We certainly have greater expectations for this team, and we owe it to the fans, we owe it to this organization, we owe it to the players to see if we can bring in some new leadership to hopefully make a difference.
Rafael Furcal skies that one. And under to make the play is Abreu. 1 away.
Looking forward, Derek, what do you see as far as Gibby's role here and in this future and possibly beyond?
Candy, I was asked today by a number of people whether this was an audition for him, and I think anytime you have the interim tag, it really is just that. I know he wants to win. I know he wants to do a nice job as manager and bring a new spirit and a new energy to this team and hopefully teach as well and clearly define what his expectations are. So I think he's going to have success. I think we've already seen a little of that tonight. But he wants to be the permanent manager, and he's going to have a little time here to prove that he can be. It's exciting, and for him, this is an opportunity I think he's deserved, he's earned, and he gladly accepted it. And I'm excited for Gibby. I'm excited for the staff.
Introduce us, if you will, a little bit to Jerry DiPoto and why he was the selection as the interim general manager.
Jerry, it was a logical choice for us. He's been a super member of Josh's staff. Jerry is a guy that had a great career as a relief pitcher, a lot of success there, and he's very knowledgeable. He's very creative. In the meetings that I sat in on, he had great ideas. He asked the right questions, and he really has terrific knowledge for players. He's, of course, VP of player personnel, yet not just with our staff, not just with our team, not our minor league and major league players, but you look at every other team. He knows all 30 teams, the depth from top to bottom. It's incredible. The guy is like, I said earlier, like an encyclopedia. But he's a fun-loving guy. He's an all-inclusive guy. Someone who would, much like a Pat Gillick, like to sit in the room with 10, 15 other people so we can get their thoughts and bounce ideas off. And right now in the situation we are where we've looked at possibly making some changes, with some of the faces here on this team, yet we're not going to blow it up. It's good to have somebody who has great knowledge at all levels with every other team.
And yet, how much will you take phone calls? How much will you listen to teams that may overwhelm you for any player down there? Literally any player down there.
Well, I think in any given year we're going to do that. We're going to listen and we're going to entertain ideas and thoughts and see if we can improve our ball club. We were asked today, are you a buyer or seller? At this time, we want to improve now. We want to gain some momentum going into 2011, and we want to have sustainability. We want to have success, and we want to continue that success. But we have to get back into our winning ways. We have not been winning. That's unacceptable with this team, and we've had great success in an early amount of time with this franchise.
Right.
Let's get back into that habit of winning.
How much do you think when you make change like this, do the players accept that right away? Have you guys thought about that, what it's like down in the locker room?
Gets away, a throwing error by Edwin Jackson. You held that thought. Now, thank you. Well, jump in there.
I think it depends a lot on what those changes are, and a lot of times the players end up looking in the mirror at that point and say, "Wow, did we cause this?" When you look at a manager and a general manager, unfortunately, so much of their job depends on the outcome of the players and their performance on the field, and that's unfortunate, but that's the nature of those roles. And changing leadership was a result of the way this team has performed on the field. It's a shame again because Josh and AJ never threw a pitch. They didn't ever swing a bat, yet the results on the field were, representative of the move that we had to make. I think the players understand why we did it, and I think when you name a Kirk Gibson, for example, as an interim manager, there's a guy that has a lot of credibility. He's got the relationships, the respect. He had a tremendous career as a player. He's been a bench coach for a long time. He's got a good staff around him, and I think the players are going to feed into it.
1-1 the count, 1 out to man who grew up here in the Valley, St. Mary's, ASU, Andre Ethier. Good change of pace. Where are you guys with the bench coach process right now? Obviously, you elevated your bench coach to manager. You need a bench coach.
Yeah, definitely working on it. We'll probably have that announcement tomorrow. And I don't think we'll be a coach down tomorrow, that's for sure. But we have some good internal candidates to join the staff. And if so, we can do some shuffling on deck. With the staff, you've got a number of members on that coaching staff that could fill in and be a good bench coach. And it's who.
Abreu leaves his feet.
Attaboy, Jay!
Getting Andre Ethier. Runners on first and third. Pretty piece of hitting. There's just 1 out.
But it's who Gibby's really comfortable with to have stand beside him or sit beside him and hopefully be a step ahead of him. That's the bench coach, because that truly is the job, as you know.
I want to go back to something that you touched on earlier, and it's something I've been thinking about a lot today. And, you know, the players, Candy asked how did they accept it, and you said they might look in the mirror. I hope they look in the mirror. I hope that they realize that part of their legacy, and I'd love your thoughts on this, part of their legacy as players will be 2 managers lost their jobs in 2 years, and I hope it does serve as a wake-up call.
Well, you know, I think they would be the first to admit that they've underperformed. This is a talented group of players. And, you know, again, we're probably going to have to tweak here and there. We're going to do some things here, the coaching staff is, over the next, you know, month or so to see what they're capable of doing. And, you know, whether it's, as you can see tonight, putting runners in motion, hit and run. I mean, all that's important to see who's going to be able to adapt, who's going to be able to take it to the next level with where Gibby and the staff want to take it. But, you know, I think they probably will look in the mirror, and I think they'll probably blame themselves to a certain extent. But it's more important to forget about it, move on, turn the page. Let's get that momentum going.
Line drive, center field base hit. You touched on something very important, I think, as Loney with an RBI. This game getting interesting again, 6-3. It is about that reflection, but then it can't be an anchor. It can't drag you down. You need a few moments of reflection, but you're right. You can't drag yourself down, lose confidence.
No sense in sulking. You know, move on. Let's go. Let's find those solutions, correct it. Let's start to win. Let's get excited as a team, play together cohesively. You know, cohesiveness is very important. Candy, you know that. But this team now has to start getting back into the habit of winning, has to have some positive experiences. You look at the Padres last year. You know, they were really with us around the cellar most of the season. They passed us. They had a great final month of the season, created incredible momentum going into 2010. We need that now. You know, are we going to get back into the race? Tough. You know, tough to say we will. But let's have some positive outcomes here. Let's have some winning months. Let's have a winning second half of the season and get that momentum carried into 2011.
You know, I also think is you touched on it today, and also Mr. Kendrick touched on it today, is that, you know, and me and Darren have talked about it. You are not quitting, and a lot of times it's easy to quit on in a situation like this, but you're not quitting. You're trying to get better. You know, you're just not a sale right now.
Yeah, Candy.
And that's huge, I think, for the fans to understand.
It is important, and that's because we do have faith in this team and this group. And you know, Ken and I made it very clear that we believe in them. This isn't a situation where if you go and look at some of the other teams that may be in the cellar, you know, it's a different scenario. I mean, they don't have talented teams that maybe underperformed or underachieved. That is the case with us. For whatever reason, we have not been able to win. You know, let's turn that around. Let's start to win. You look at that game that we finished up in St. Louis the other day. That was a beautiful game. And that's really what we expected all year. You know, you get out in front, your bullpen does its job, you win that game 4-2, you come back home. That's more of what we need to see. You know, I like seeing the offense tonight, putting the bat on the ball. Let's start to do the little things. Let's start to move runners over, show unselfish play. And ultimately, it'll turn into W's. But it's all about the culture. It's about the attitude. You know, it's expectations. We expect you to win. We expect you to play hard each and every game. We expect you to play fundamentally well. And I think Kirk Gibson's going to bring a lot of that to the table.
Did you surprise him when you reached out to him and made him the offer?
You know, I'm not sure. I'm really not. But you know, I did tell him that we were interested and made the invitation. We then spent a few hours together last night. And I'm telling you, I wished he had a uniform on right then, because he was ready to go. And this guy he's motivated, he's excited, and he wants to make a difference. He wants to make an impact. That's all we can ask for.
What message do you hope that you and Ken and all of us as an organization have sent to our fans that we value so much?
Well, I think it's that we are trying, just as we said before, and that we expect more. We want to bring a winner back to this franchise. You know, for us, it's a matter, again, you know, I keep talking about momentum, getting it to the next level again. And that's really where I want to take this. The message to the fans is, let's give you something to cheer about. Let's win some games out there on the field. Let's get these guys back in the habit of winning. And, you know, let's get some normalcy. Let's get some consistency and sustainability. That's really what we need right now.
And I think that's what you're talking about by changing the culture.
Yeah.
And that was a big phrase. And I think winning really corrects the culture of any team. So, I mean, it's kind of what came first, the chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, winning cures everything, that's for sure. But, you know, part of winning is making sure that you do have that culture. You have that culture of winning. You have that culture of being a hard-nosed player, much like Kirk Gibson was. I mean, Gibby was, you know, an incredible competitor, and he was gritty, and he was always dirty, and, you know, he just wanted to win. He couldn't stand the opposition. He didn't want to shake hands with him or talk to him before or after games. If he can rub off just a little bit on this team, we're going to be much better for it. If our players can be more like he was when he was a player, we're going to have some good results.
Certainly seems like you know, with all the things that he said, you had plenty of private conversations, and as time goes along, I know you'll share with all of us publicly, and I'm sure Gibby will too. It seems like he's ready to roll.
He is ready to roll. He's been waiting for this. You know, he mentioned it today. He wanted to be a manager. He wants to be a manager. This isn't the way that he wanted it to happen, but I'm glad he got the opportunity.
Derek, thanks for coming up. I know it's been a challenging last couple of weeks, tough decisions to make. We appreciate you coming up here.
Thank you, guys. It's all about opportunity now.
CEO of the Diamondbacks, Derek Hall, on a new day for Arizona. They lead it. Get a little tighter, 6-3. Brought to you by Schumacher European, your Mercedes-Benz Supercenter, Scottsdale Road Loop 101, or drivethebest.com. Bluebell Ice Cream, who reminds you that July is National Ice Cream Month. Discover Bluebell's newest flavor. It's Caramel Kettle Crunch, and pop some in your mouth. And as you can see, by Sanderson Ford and Lincoln Mercury. And Volvo, too. Tony and Brady to lead things off. Tom Candiotti, Mark McClune. My name is Darren Sutton. And you are the other part of the conversation. Thanks for joining us. Curveball strike one to Abreu. We appreciate your time and opening up your home to us. And we really, more than anything, hope you have a great holiday weekend. You folks, you hardworking folks that are tuned in, you've earned it. Curveball, 1-1 the count. By the way, here in a little bit, the Legends race. Have you heard about it? Folks at home, the huge race that is going to be debuting kind of got pushed aside, understandably so. A few things going on around these parts, as that one is fouled off. But Hinkle presents the Legends race, or as I like to call them up here, the Racing Gracies. 1-2 the count.
I'm excited for it tonight.
Are you excited?
Yes, I am.
Good luck, Skipper. Good luck, Skipper Gibson. Go D-backs. Good sign. I am excited. Ray, you love it. Going the other way. We know he doesn't like to walk. I mean, he detests to walk, but he's getting himself right back on track.
Well, that's all right. A hit is better than a walk. And a nice job right there, taking the ball out over the plate again. Not a big swing at all. Just kind of slap shot, left field, base hit.
So now Gerardo Parra. Changeup misses away. 1-0 the count. For the Dodgers, 3 runs, 4 hits, and an error. They have stranded 3. For the Diamondbacks, 6 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. They too have stranded 3. Stayed back as long as he could on that slow breaking ball.
Yeah, I like the way this game started offensively. 3 in the first, 3 in the second. Nothing wrong with 3 spots every inning.
And especially you can get something going down from the bottom of the order. Edwin Jackson singled in the second, came on around to score. One and one to count. Tony Abreu just 1 stolen base this year in his only attempt. Drew again, that Stephen Drew, that is, that knee barking a bit, that left knee. To have him back in there tomorrow night. Need to have him back in there. Back to the bag goes Abreu. The Dodgers just wrapped up taking a trip up to San Francisco, and they liked it. They rolled. They swept the Giants. 4-2, 4-2, and 8-2. Base hit, right field. Here we go.
You know what I love about the way this game has started offensively? There's been no home runs. 3 in the first, 3 in the second, threatening here in the third, and not one ball has gone out of the park yet. That's a lot of base hits. That's 10 of them.
Don't forget, singles night is Friday, July 23rd at Chase Field. You can mix, you can mingle with the Valley singles. Almost rhymes in the Miller Lite Diamond Club during the D-backs Giants game. Plus, enjoy a tequila sampling. Courtesy of our good friends with Salsa, I should say. 602, as that one is bunted. Foul ball. 462-4794. Or visit dbacks.com/singles. Valley singles, tequila samplings. That screams Mark Grace. He likes to call it a mixer.
We were both thinking the same thing right there. You just happened to say it.
0-1 the count. Trying to get that bunt down there. Cheating in on both corners. Edwin, look out. Pitch is up and in. Nice job there by Edwin Jackson, getting it down and protecting himself.
Well, when you, as a pitcher, when you see a guy square around, you want to throw this ball up. This ball happens to be up, but it tails at him. And sure enough, he deadens that ball. That's very difficult because you want to make sure you protect yourself up there. It ends up being a perfect sacrifice bunt. Again, now we've seen a couple instances this game where it's really paid off for Edwin Jackson of being an athlete. His base running, his hitting, and now his bunting.
And so now Chris Young. Young with the single, a run scored. He also struck out on a pitch away. Slider darts over the inside. We talk about hitting with runners in scoring position, getting bunts down, doing the little things. Arizona, about 43% of their runs this year coming via the home run. It's one of the higher totals in the game. Jumping out on that slider, 0-2 the count.
This is a tough slider to hit from Weaver because it's almost like a sidearm curveball in a way. A lot of times you see a slider is going to have a tight little red dot coming on it. When he drops down and throws it, it's almost like has curveball rotation from the side. And that's why you get a big sweeping break on it.
Young drives it into deep left center field. Toward the gap it goes. It's down up against the wall. One run is in. Another coming on down. Young thinks about 3. He'll stop right there. 2-run score. Arizona leads it 8-3. Another crooked number in another Diamondbacks inning.
Here it comes. Outside pitch. Look at the head right down on the ball. No drifting. Watch his head. Straight down. Look at that line right there. He stays behind the ball. And he's able to drive that ball to the left center field gap. You hear the phrase all the time, stay behind the ball. That's a perfect example of staying behind the ball and being able to launch that ball out in front.
So now Kelly Johnson. Breaking ball, lifts that one into the seats. Threw him a curveball there. For Chris Young, he's got a single, he has got a double. 2 more RBIs to give him 54 runs batted in.
But how about the execution? Get on, you got him over. A huge sacrifice bunt by Edwin Jackson, putting them in scoring position. And Chris Young coming through with a gap shot to left center, a double and 2 RBIs. Executing.
That pitch is low. Sinking fastball. Amica insurance for Kelly Johnson. You can see away, away, away. The red spots, the area where he is peppered. That pitch runs up and in. 2-1 the count.
To me, Kelly Johnson makes so many in-game adjustments when he's up at the plate. He notices how pitchers are trying to pitch him, how catchers are trying to pitch him, and he makes those adjustments. A lot of guys become stubborn, and they don't try to adjust up there. Not Kelly.
For Young, those 54 RBIs, they move him back up with the likes of Scott Rowland. One behind Ryan Howard, Joey Votto. David Wright leads with 63. That's ball 4. So Kelly Johnson, a couple singles and a walk.
I guarantee you the Dodgers right now, they're playing a D-backs club and they're going, with this team right now, they're not playing at that clip. They're not that kind of ball club. I mean, these guys are executing tonight.
Runner goes to third, thrown out, and just stole it. 2 stolen bases. Make it 3 for the Diamondbacks on this ball game.
A nice shot by Young. Got a great jump out of second base. Kelly Johnson didn't get a good break off first. Decided to hold his ground while Young gets into third base easily. Well, he is exciting when he gets the green light. He keeps going.
2-0 the count. The slider away to Upton. Upton walked a couple of times in that St. Louis series. Was 2 of 10, but again had a huge road trip. 7 of 19. Outside. Slider, 3-0 the count.
Look at that start, though. 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 right here in the third, and threatening.
Ball 4. Sinking fastball. Weaver curious where it was. Upton has walked twice. 37 walks this year.
I guarantee you Joe Torre's not too happy with what's going on with his ball club right now.
Were you ever on a team, part of a roster, or speak with folks that were on a roster that went through this? Manager change mid-season.
I've been through a couple of those myself where you have the manager change mid-season. And a lot of times it's just because there's a change is what just needed. It doesn't make the players any better, but all of a sudden there's a change, and frankly that's what Derek talked about a little bit, of just trying to adapt to a certain style. Boy, we saw it last year, and the change that the players had from Bob Melvin to AJ. And they took off a pretty good month of June and July, if I'm not mistaken.
This is something they hope to sustain, though.
Yeah, that's the key. We all know the key to playing winning baseball is getting great pitching and getting timely hitting. It's executing, and you're seeing this club tonight execute. And that's what Gibby was talking about executing and doing the fundamentals.
High fly ball center field. Surrounding in his camp with that good arm. The throw goes to third. And an RBI. Miguel Montero, his second run batted in. A little bit more little ball. 3 runs again for the Diamondbacks. They've done it the first 3 innings of this ball game. 9-3.
Again, another at-bat that's executed perfectly. He got the job done. He had to get that ball in the air. He did. He got it deep out to center field. And that's what you do. You get the sacrifice fly and another run for the Diamondbacks.
And now Mark Reynolds. Do not want to lose perspective of his at-bat. Very representative of the work he is trying to do as the slider is away. Weaver now shaking his head at the home plate umpire, Gary Darling. That won't get you anywhere. But Reynolds took a slider away. A little choke and poke into right field, earned himself a run with 2 strikes. 1-1.
He's a little bit late on that slider. Boy, it was a hanger, too. Just said hit me. Mark recognized it just a little bit too late, and that's all it took to get that slider by him.
The 1-1. Popped that one up. One and 2 the count to Mark. 3 runs, 4 hits, 1 error. We're here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, by the way, and Vin Scully, the legendary voice of baseball all around our country, but in Southern California, he is simulcasted in the first 3 innings. Well, he has been on radio and TV for a long, long time. And then our good friends Charlie Steiner and Rick Monday, they take over on the radio side the rest of the way. They're still just watching. Just enjoying the ball game.
Well, look at Charlie Steiner. He's probably eating a couple hot dogs by now.
You leave Charlie alone.
Me and Charlie are tight. Not real excited what's going on in the field.
Reynolds goes down on strikes. They get to go to work now, by the way. The legendary voice of the Dodgers moves over to television. All right, Charlie, come on. Come get your whooping. Wood Stains, our great friends and partners, legendary performance. Al Pedrique taking over on this date, 2004, 6 years ago. For Bob Brenly, of course, a World Series champion manager in 01. Bob Brenly, 303 wins, 262 losses, a winning percentage of .536. Now one of the best color analysts out there. Of course, aside from you and Gracie and Gonzo and Joe Garagiola, Bob Brenly, one of the best color analysts out there. I take care of my guys.
Oh, boy, that was big.
But
I'll be glad to buy you a beer. Come on.
Well, I know that. I know. I don't go looking too often for the candy gravy train. Mark Reynolds on a backhand shoots it on across. Others do in time for the out, but not me. I make Gracie pay. Quest High Speed Internet, high speed pitch. Hiroki Kuroda reaching 95. He is done. Edwin touching 95.
That's a perfect example of it's not about the velocity. Right, Kuroda's already out of the game and still he's throwing 95 miles an hour.
You hear Martin banging that helmet. Spins out of that one, so the fastball stays away. 1-0 the count.
Pretty amazing, though. You look at that score. I love just looking at that scoreboard now. 3-3-3. Something about 3-3-3.
That's the pitcher in you, I think, that likes all that support.
I guess so. 333. It's a good luck number.
It's a good batting average. It's a good ERA.
Yep, absolutely.
Obviously, if you give up 3-3-3, that's not a good ERA.
It's an early night. You got number 33 at the plate.
Line drive center field. Young, as it knuckles out there, will hang on and make the play. Weaver will hit. So when you had an early night, not to insinuate that you ever did, Tom Candiotti.
Well, I had plenty of them.
Well, what goes on with a pitcher? What are you doing? Kuroda's gone. He's up in the locker room.
He's up there probably looking at game film, game tape right now.
Really?
Probably going over what he did right, what he did wrong, mostly what he did wrong in this game. Control-wise, he's probably looking. He doesn't walk this many guys. He goes, what happened to me out there? And so he's probably looking at his mechanics right now.
You ever have a beverage?
Absolutely.
Okay, just, you're probably parched from working hard. Ice? Did you ice?
I never really iced.
Okay.
But most pitchers are going to ice.
Bouncing ball, and it's a foul ball. 0-2 the count.
Yeah, a lot of times, you'll after you've iced, you put your uniform back on, and you come out and you cheer your guys on.
Good stuff.
And that's being a good teammate there, because these guys are all cheering for you. And so you go out there and you make sure you cheer them on no matter how bad you feel.
1-2 the count to Jeff Weaver. We've seen that on both sides. It's always a welcome sight, because you never know with this much baseball left to be played what can happen.
And especially in this park. I mean, there's a lot of runs can get scored here at Chase Field.
1, 2, 3, 5 in a row sat down by Edwin Jackson. Kirk Gibson now in charge of the Enterprise. AT&T trivia question. Name the last 5 most valuable players to become Major League managers. Gibson, of course, an MVP in 1988 as a member of the Dodgers. Good question.
Good question.
Arizona with 9 runs in the ballgame tonight. They scored 4 runs in the entire series in Los Angeles. Ramon Troncoso takes over, the right-hander. Weaver hit for himself, not to eat innings. We told you Manny Ramirez not available. Dodgers down by 6 early. Joe Torre just not wanting to go to his bench. Curveball, 1-1 the count, LaRoche. The role of the stuntman, the veteran pitcher who can do anything out of the pen. Two and 1 the count to LaRoche. 3 runs, 4 hits, and an error for the Dodgers. They've stranded 3. 9 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error for the Diamondbacks. They've stranded 5. 2-2 the count.
Well, you know, you start getting deep into a bullpen early in the game like this, and you got a 6-run lead. You know, this is where the hitters just lick their chops, because they're going to be able. They're going to start facing the secondary relievers, the guys that might not have the best numbers, the guys that have been struggling. You know, Joe Torre trying to fill some innings right now. And this is, as a hitter, this is when you start smiling. You start padding your numbers.
Fouls it off. We'll do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 3-game series between these 2 clubs. And obviously tomorrow evening, these 2 teams go toe-to-toe. Clayton Kershaw against Rodrigo Lopez. And it's Chad Billingsley against Dan Herron on Sunday. That is strike 3 over the outside corner. And again, a lot of you folks that are used to the 5 o'clock Saturday night game, tomorrow night's game is at 6:40. So it's at 6:40 because there are fireworks after the game. Fireworks, I am told, are best viewed when it's dark out. So I think they wanted to start a little bit later. They will open up the roof and shoot those fireworks off.
It's definitely been my experience.
I'm told they've confirmed that in the truck, that fireworks are best viewed when it's dark. So that'll be tomorrow night. Clayton Kershaw, Rodrigo Lopez, and then Chad Billingsley against Dan Herron. That's on Sunday. Then the Cubs come to town. Don't forget Monday, July 5th. That is a day game. Ian Kennedy, Tom Gorzolani. And then a couple of night games, and it's the Florida Marlins. And it's the All-Star break. The 1-1. Pitch is in. And the guys in the truck, they're really solid at things like that. The fireworks research they did for us, that it's better in the dark.
They're working hard tonight.
Well, they are. They worked hard all day. We have, I think, 11 television shows today. The 2-1. Bouncing ball to short. On across the diamond. And Abreu is erased. But you know what? That doesn't mean that they deserve signs. I mean, I appreciate the work. Kudos with the K, obviously. But Jason Lewis, our producer, and Mitch Riggins, our director, that's enough. Good to see that everyone brought their moms to the game tonight. That's embarrassing. Here's Gerardo Parra. I'm told, by the way, the guys in the truck, if you'd like to be on TV, bring signs that praise the producer and director.
And what do you get for that?
You get on television, I guess. The 1-0. 1-1 the count to Gerardo Parra.
They could bring him over to the truck and get him autographed.
That's true. That's true. That'd be worth quite a bit. Breaking ball is away. 2-1 the count. are tired of waiting on Troncoso. 300 hitter here at home. It's 302 in his career here. Good fastball. 2-2 the count. Boy, I'd like to have secondary stuff like that. You know, be a kind of a schlep out of the pen.
Coming right at you. It was over the middle of the plate. Beat him with it. Yeah, that kind of stuff usually doesn't.
Pretty good stuff.
Doesn't place you as a secondary reliever, but numbers over a 5 ERA, but good stuff.
Sits down the Diamondbacks. 1-2-3. 9-3. Arizona's up. Get tickets for tomorrow's post-game fireworks spectacular. Enjoy the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers game inside air-conditioned Chase Field. Then sit back and relax as the roof opens for the best fireworks show in the Valley, courtesy of our good friends and partners with Gila River Casinos. 602-462-4794 or dbacks.com. Rafael Furcal ready to go. Let's take a look at Amica Insurance. Well, he tries to get beaten our hit zone. The pitch is seen. They try and get him down and in quite a bit. You can see where they attack most pitches seen this year for Rafael Furcal. As Jackson, that pitch sails away. Your thoughts on Edwin so far tonight after that 149 pitch outing?
Well, he had a really good inning. Really, the last 2 innings, he's done a really nice job. And I think he's starting to settle in right now. Some of that adrenaline gets out of your system. And now, instead of becoming a thrower and trying to overpower people, you're becoming more of a pitcher. We'll start moving the ball around. A couple good two-seamers here.
The pitch is inside, 2-1 the count. He had a run last year where he threw 132 pitches, and Tigers folks will still talk about a win against Texas, which he threw 132 pitches. As that one is outside, and he reeled off a dozen respectable starts in a row with a solid ERA, so there was not a huge impact to that arm after that out.
Well, I guarantee you that they're watching his pitch count tonight after that. Do I think they need to? Not really. I think he's throwing fine. He uses his lower body well. You know, he does have very good mechanics as far as releasing the ball. But I know that there's just a little bit of caution. So knowing that he threw 149 pitches, even though he had a couple extra days, we'll be watching.
Furcal reaches, and he has really been rolling. Since returning from the disabled list, Furcal hitting .350, 42 hits for the young man. His last 10 games, he's 22 of 45 coming in.
He is a spark plug for that club. You get a leadoff hitter like Furcal.
If they can just keep him healthy.
Yeah, that's been his big problem. He's a little guy, but he does have enough pop where he can pop a ball out of the park also. You just can't lay that fastball down the middle for him. Pretty nasty slider to start Kemp off with.
Good fastball down and in. Furcal playing inspired ball, certainly with the tragic loss of his father. Mark McClune, I know, has more on that. Mark?
Yeah, he came into the game tonight, 14 for his last 21, and that's after being injured earlier this season, finally getting things right, and then having to go back to the Dominican Republic and bury his father. It was a tragic accident that took the life of his father, and he found out very late in the game when his father was on his deathbed. And since he's come back, he's been very focused, and talking to some people who cover the team on a daily basis, says he's not afraid to talk about it. He's not being reclusive about it. He's talking openly about it, but just a lot more focused now, and certainly seeing the results in the field.
Certainly a sad story when we all heard about that. Thinking about Rafael Furcal. 0-2 the count, 9-3 the score. Not far enough away. Nice job, Montero.
He was scrambling for that ball. Ball in the dirt, and Montero's expecting a lot of balls in the dirt when Jackson's on the mound. He's got a lot of wild pitches, 12 of them right now, I think. That ball's in the dirt, and he blocks it, but he's up like a cat, knowing that over at first base, you got a guy that's got some pretty good speed over there for call.
1-2 the count. Slider, outside corner, strike 3. Wow.
He knew it too.
Nasty, nasty pitch.
He buckled him. This all predicates from that two-seamer in. See his front foot? Front foot's opening way up, looking for the fastball in. And he tricked him with the slider away.
So now Andre Ethier with one out. Fastball runs away.
Sometimes hitters like to guess, and sometimes they look for location. Look at his front foot. It opens way up. You're looking for a fastball in. You open up the front side trying to get to it, and next thing you know, he throws the slider. Let's look from the pitcher's point of view now. Watch his front foot right here. Watch that thing open. Look at that. It steps towards third base almost. He was looking for the fastball inside, and he got the slider away. That's why he was buckled. He got caught thinking.
And you don't want to think too much on the baseball field, do you?
No, you want to react.
1-1 the count. Ethier slices that one the other way. Boy, can he hit. So the Padres and the Astros are playing in San Diego, beautiful San Diego, and it's Latos against Oswalt in that game. They started about 25 minutes after we did. They're in the 7th. 0-0 is the score. They are rolling both of those pitchers.
Yeah, but the Diamondbacks got 9 runs and a lead.
That's exactly right. No,
what do you got?
Not giving the runs back.
You want to prevent any kind of scoring right now. Sometimes the first inning, the 5th inning, and the 9th inning are the 3 toughest innings for a starting pitcher. The 5th being that if you have a lead and you get it through it, you've got a chance to win the game.
Right.
So sometimes that 5th inning can be a little difficult. Got a couple guys on base right now. You got a 6-run lead. You don't want to let the Dodgers claw back in this game.
Slicing that one. Boy, that would have hurt. And a beautiful, beautiful attack by Loney, letting it travel. And we saw Bo Porter there deep in conversation with Kirk Gibson. As far as a support staff with not one true bench coach, I would imagine Gibby welcoming all hands on deck.
Ben Sherlock, the bench coach tonight. There's Matt Williams. Mel Stottlemyre.
Good fastball, pours it in there, 1-2 the count.
James Loney is one of the hitters that you hear the phrase staying inside the ball. He does it very, very well. And like you said, he let the ball travel and try to stay inside the ball, keep your hands inside that ball. And that's why he's so good at hitting that ball to left center, left field. He just missed hitting that one down the line.
Bouncing ball, base hit, right field. We're going to send the runner on down for Call with his speed. So 9-4 is the score. And the Dodgers are going to make it interesting all night long. Jackson touched up. He's got 82 pitches, 4 runs allowed. This is that 5th inning, Candy, that you're talking about.
Yeah, it becomes very difficult when you have a big lead like that. You know, as a starting pitcher, you have to get through this inning to be able to qualify to get a win. And sometimes you put a little bit of extra pressure on yourself trying to get through that inning. And Jackson's having a little difficulty right now. Well, you know, that's, what was it, 56 RBIs for Loney.
That is a huge year. 56 runs batted in. 444 in this ballpark since 07. 444. Well, if ever you're going to get one of those Edwin Jackson ground balls, now's the time. A little more fatigue, maybe a little more dive on the fastball. Instead of him a changeup to start him off. 1-0 the count. Blake walked back in the 2nd inning and struck out looking. Jackson beginning his career as a Dodgers 6th round draft pick in 2001. Off speed, 1-1 the count. I think he got on top of the slider, really got on top of it. He backed off velocity wise.
Yeah, he did. I mean, normally his slider is a lot faster than that.
Could that have been a curveball?
It might have been his curveball right there, but he had good bite to it, kept it down, kept it away.
Why not? Fastball is in. If he throws a curveball this year in an average game of 100 pitches, he only throws about 4.
That's not too many. And he's got a good curveball, too. He really does. But when he locks in with his slider, he doesn't really need his curveball, because he can throw that slider to lefties and to righties.
The 2-1. Did he? Boy. 3-1 the count.
Well, Bruce Dreckman did not give that to him. I tell you, it's a great pitch, side view, Casey Blake. Oh, absolutely did he pass the zone. Not a good call there. Could be a 2-2 count instead of a 3-1 hitter's count.
Action in the bullpen. Lane Boyer serving to help things out. Sam Demmel getting ready to roll. A right-hander out of TCU came over in the Connor Jackson trade from Oakland. 3-1. A good fastball. Couldn't do anything with that one.
You know, that's really something too. You know, in a fastball count, a 3-1 count, a hitter's count, and here comes a fastball and you can't do anything with it. To me, as a pitcher, that gives you tons of confidence to come right back with that pitch.
After throwing the 2nd no-hitter in Diamondbacks history, he has been human tonight. Fastball, ground ball, should be 2. Abreu, Johnson, LaRoche, double play. Pitcher's best friend, also on this night, a new manager's best friend. talk about managers getting an opportunity that at one point were most valuable players. We're the last 5 to get those opportunities. Gibby, Joe Torre, Tom Baylor, Frank Robinson, and Pete Rose. Very good.
That's going all the way back to Yogi Berra.
Very good stuff. Cole Gillespie. And that spells the end of the night for Edwin. Surprised?
No, you knew that they were going to keep his pitch count down a little bit tonight if they could. And he was struggling that last inning. So I think it's a good move.
One and one the count. Your thoughts on what you saw from Edwin?
I thought he pitched well. You know, I thought he had a lot of emotion. He came out in the first inning on fire. You know, had a great third and fourth, struggled in that fifth inning, but he made the pitch when he had to. Got the big double play on Casey Blake.
Did you see effects of the 149 pitches he threw?
No, I didn't see any effects of that at all. I think Edwin will tell you he's perfectly fine. No, it wasn't even a big deal to him.
Okay. Took an extra couple of days off.
I think that might hurt more than anything. You get into a routine as a pitcher. You know, you pitch. A couple days later, you throw on the side. You know, a couple days later, you pitch.
Cole Gillespie drives it to center field. There to make the play is Matt Kemp, so Gillespie is erased.
And sometimes when you have that prolonged period in between starts, you don't quite pitch as well. You might be a little bit strong. You try to overthrow a little bit. All pitchers like to stay on rotation.
So the alternating perspective, instead of sounding the alarm and raising up the red flags about pitch counts, you're saying that might throw you off your rhythm a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. He was fine. He would have been fine to pitch on Wednesday.
See, that's the kind of perspective that we like. You actually did the job that he does in the big leagues for a long, long, long time. The 1-0 to Chris Young. 2-0 the count.
You know, the Dodgers punched back. You know, they got a run. They were threatening for more. I think this D-back club, they're feeling very good, very confident offensively tonight. And I think it's time to add on. Keep adding on as much as you can. Young having himself a nice night tonight. A base hit, a double, a couple RBIs, scored a couple runs.
Taken all the way, 3-1 the count. The Dodgers with 4 runs, 7 hits, and an error. They have stranded 4. Kelly Johnson and his mates with 9 runs, 11 hits, and an error. They have stranded 5. Fastball blows it up and in. 3-2 the count. Young with a bouncing ball out to third. Blake, a couple of steps in, is there, and he makes the play for the out. I want to remind everyone the interactive kiosk near section 111, of course, it's Kachinko here at Chase Field, brought to you by our good friends and partners with Gila River Casinos. I know we like to get out there. He got an autographed baseball. If he's lucky, a Tom Candiotti baseball.
Might get $1 for that on eBay.
You wouldn't mind an autographed baseball as your prize. You're quite a collector, aren't you?
I'll take it.
For the boys?
Absolutely. I got to have 2 of them. Can't have 1.
That's exactly right. Spoken like a true father. Curveball spikes it in there. No balls and 2 strikes. By the way, the Racing Legends, it's about to debut.
And I am excited for this.
Yeah, we'll show you the highlights. The inaugural race. Our good friends with Henkel, partners and sponsors of the Racing Legends, or as we like to call them up here, the Racing Gracies. And they sent us in gift bags as well. Some nice products.
Products for after the race.
Well, yes, we can actually wash. Some Dial soap and things like that. Very nice, very generous. Love our Dial products. So actually, it'll be a big day for me. I'll be showering tomorrow. So I thank the good folks with Henkel. All kinds of good stuff. There you go. Thank you. Very generous. 2-2 the count. But I'm actually ready for the race. Kelly down the line toward the pole, and he comes up a little short. And I follow Kelly's fly balls that way because he had that incredibly unique home run deep, high off that pole the other way. And you rarely see a hitter do that the other way. So if you want me to stick with any hitter that's maybe a bit late on the ball, it'll be this man.
Hitting a breaking ball that way, that far. That's some power.
Kosa was on his way back to the dugout. Gary Darling shooting him a nice firm look. Umpires don't like that, do they?
They don't like that at all. The umpires like to be in control. And they'll tell you, just wait for my arm, son. I'll let you know.
Curveball got him. Well, in Wisconsin, they have the sausages. In D.C., they have the racing presidents. Here we have Gracie and Randy and Gonzo and Maddie. The Racing Legends debut. Right after this. Here they come. The Racing Legends have arrived, and never has Randy Johnson run so fast. Matt Williams, of course, his representative. He's hoping that his big-headed Matt Williams could get it going. But in the inaugural race, the tallest man in baseball history, Randy Johnson is the winner. Huge win. Luis Gonzalez, a very, very disappointing showing. I've never been more disappointed in Gonzo. Mark McClune is with him, guys.
All right, Luis Gonzalez, your reaction to being smoked right there by Randy Johnson?
Well, we're obviously going to stay after tonight and do a little extra work. I was disappointed in my guy's form, and I let him know that when he came in. So, it was only the first race. We got a long way to go.
See, I was under the impression that you were actually in the costume.
Yeah, not tonight. But I thought my guy was going to do well. He kind of faded out there a little bit, and like I said, I got to work on his form a little bit. That was unimpressive to me tonight.
Did you have any input at all into the costume and your head being larger than life?
No, I'm really impressed with Randy's. I thought RJ's was really cool. Maddie's is Maddie, and Gracie, of course, is the same. So, you know, they're pretty fun, and as you could see the reaction from the fans, they were really excited tonight about it.
And just so I have this correct, you are predicting a win tomorrow night and the rest of the homestand going forward.
God, that'd be nice. I mean, I was kind of hoping on a successful wire-to-wire first place, but I guess that's not going to happen. You can't win them all unless you win the first one, so I guess that's not going to happen for me.
Somehow I have a feeling that this guy might actually climb into the costume tomorrow night to make that happen. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Guys?
Very good stuff. By the way, it needs to be pointed out, and I don't know if we have a clip of it. It doesn't matter. In true typical form, Matty held his own, his representation, you know, his likeness. Mark Grace dead last.
I'd like to see all four of them put their own costume on and run.
Well, then you'd really have Mark Grace dead last. The 1-2. That one is just off the plate. There he is. Look at him. That is just unbelievable. Words can't really. There's that one. It's a hot shot. Demmel will come to the bag. LaRoche will take it himself. Sam comes on now. He's already earning his way and earning his keep. He comes on for the 6th time this year. 3.38 ERA. Pitched at St. Louis. Gave up a couple of runs in that 8-0 loss a few nights ago in St. Louis. Otherwise, it had been scoreless previous of that. Had a couple of inherited runners score in a ball game against Tampa Bay on the road trip. A's 3rd-round pick in 07. Acquired recently for Connor Jackson. He was working in AAA for the A's club, and immediately, because of the struggles of his mates down there, immediately got a chance for a promotion to the major leagues.
He comes right at hitters, too. Doesn't try to pitch on the corners. He comes right at them with his best stuff. It's the kind of mentality you like of a guy coming out of the pen.
Remind us of the stuff that he throws.
Well, he's got a fastball. He actually two-seam it, and sometimes he cuts it. And I think a lot of that might not be intentional. He gets a little bit underneath it. Got a good slider. And he'll throw a changeup.
There's that good slider you're talking about to Russell Martin.
Again, here he is pitching ahead in the count again.
The 1-2. There's that cut fastball you're talking about. Boy, at 92.
Yeah, and sometimes he just gets a little underneath it. And I don't know if he's really trying to throw a cutter or it comes out of his hand like that and just blisters up there.
Wow. You start to rein that in. If you can put a leash on that, that's wicked. Set in a unique manner, but bouncing that slider in there. 3-2 the count.
Time you look up there and you see a reliever, any pitcher with a whip less than 1, that's pretty good.
Walks and hits per innings pitched in those 5 2/3 innings. It's been very, very good work. 5 hits allowed, no walks is the key. Is that one big swing and it's fouled back. Well, it's a shame over there. It was a good effort, but just a terrible play made by Steve Gilbert, who covers the team for MLB.com. A great writer, but again, just a terrible athlete and defender. 3-2 the count.
He'll appreciate those comments.
Unbelievable. Bouncing ball. Array with a long way to go. Want to remind everyone that baseball's biggest stars go head-to-head for one spectacular night in the summer's biggest event, as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2010 MLB All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 13th, live from Anaheim, Orange County, California. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox. Pours the fastball in there. 0-1 the count. Demmel this year in Sacramento had made 22 appearances, had 6 saves, with an ERA of 1.26.
Well, he keeps the ball down. He has a lot of movement. Talked to Montero about him. He says his ball moves all over the place. So you might not be able to see it, but it does.
At 93 miles an hour, it's into the corner. Upton pounces on it. Bo's going to send it right around down. All the way around with a double and an RBI. Demmel, a couple of hard-hit baseballs. And Martin, that's the catcher out there running, has always had sneaky good wheels. Blake DeWitt, second RBI of the night, 25 this year.
Well, he caught one. It was a pretty good pitch. It was down. Probably would have been a ball. Gets it right by LaRoche and jumped for that ball. Kicks into the corner down there. Upton gets that ball, gets it in. But Martin, like you said, he's got pretty good wheels, and he's able to score from first base.
Yeah, check that is his third RBI of the night. And this Diamondbacks bullpen, with a lot of work to do tonight, has allowed their first run.
Becomes a big out right now. You're down at the bottom of the order. You got the top of the order. These guys can do some damage. The Dodgers can, with Furcal and Kemp and Ethier and Loney. It's important to get the outs at the bottom of the order.
Pitches outside, 1-1 the count.
And this becomes an area of concern also, because this is the area that really did a lot of damage to A.J. Hinch, the bullpen. 30 save opportunities, only 16 converted saves, 14 blown saves.
And yet he didn't pitch a single inning for that bullpen.
Nope, he did not.
1-2 the count to Jamie Carroll.
They're in a position to win a lot of baseball games. But it's how you play the last 3 innings of the game. And it's all about executing, your defense, making the pitches, situational hitting. This is what wins baseball games. But you got to have performance out of that bullpen down there. Otherwise, it doesn't matter who's managing the team.
Into the dirt it goes. 2-2 the count. Now there were all, the family that kind of is split there with mom and dad and the little one. He's definitely split. They're kind of taking a break. They know some intense moments may be coming later on. That's a great family. We always talk about how important our kids are as glues in a marriage. There's your example. Otherwise, it'd be dogs and cats living together.
That's it. That's a perfect example.
The 2-2. Bouncing ball under the glove of Demmel, but Kelly Johnson to his right is there. There's one of the big outs you were talking about. It's the second out of the inning. Pinch hitter. Jamie Carroll goes down. Runner moves to third.
Yeah, you give up the run, but you just don't want to give up that multiple run inning. Give up one, but don't give up 2 or more. Reynolds playing in at third base. Furcal will drop a bunt down any time.
Boy, that gives him so much more space to work with on the left side. And he's a slap hitter.
Oh, he does. He plays that game with the third baseman. He'll try to draw him in, pull the bat back, and try to slap it by him. Puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
recall, hitting .342 from this side of the plate. That batting average since June 15 of .489 leads everyone in the major leagues. Got him down and in, angry with himself that he chased that accidental cut fastball. But Devil gets touched up for a run. Things get a little bit more interesting for Mr. Gibson as it gets later in the game. Little ball for these Diamondbacks tonight in the first ball game for Kirk Gibson. Miguel Montero with a double and an RBI. By then, Arizona had scored 5 runs. They scored 3 in the first. They scored 3 in the second. They scored 3 in the third. And that's where they have equaled that 9-run mark. This double by Chris Young, one of his 2 hits on the night, and that played the pair. Stolen base as well. Aggressive base running. That's a little bit more little ball. That sets up a sacrifice fly for Miguel Montero. A pair of runs batted in tonight for Miggy. A walk, a double, and a sacrifice fly. And away we go. On to the bottom of the 6th inning. And Justin Upton leads it off.
Well, that's some pretty impressive stuff there. Base hits, 2-out RBIs, sacrifice bunts, stolen bases, sacrifice flies. Look at that, all those runs without hitting a home run.
Justin Miller takes over. That's what you're speaking of. But now it's time to add on. You just have a feeling you might need it. And not resting on those 9 runs you scored. You mentioned you're going against the second-tier guys in your bullpen, and those second-tier guys have stopped the offense. Upton high, fly left field. Aaron Anderson now off the end of the bat, so GA is there to put it away. Justin tonight, a couple of walks, a strikeout, and a fly out.
I think Justin wants that pitch back. He had a pretty good slice at that ball. Just got a little bit underneath it.
Pitch is high, 1-0 the count, Miguel Montero. Kirk Gibson saying that he's had many unique influences, told some great Dodgers / Tommy Lasorda stories before the game today. But also talks a lot about 2 interesting names, I think. Roger Craig, who was on a coaching staff for him, who turned out to be very successful in the Giants fans' eyes for many years, but part of the development of a younger Kirk Gibson. And, of course, Sparky Anderson. 2-1 the count.
I think we've all seen that little clip. The 1984 World Series with East Gossage on the mound. Sparky telling him, doesn't want to walk you.
High fly ball to center field. Kemp is there. A great memory and many good memories. Many things learned, Kirk Gibson, as he now takes over for these Diamondbacks as the skipper.
He taught us really how to play the game, how to be good teammates, and really to go after the right thing. You know, he's a great guy. Beyond that, he cared about us. He made us grow up. He cared about us as young men, our families, and just unforgettable experiences. And hopefully that's what we can accomplish.
Sparky Anderson
cared about the person.
Pitches outside, 1-1 the count.
You really think about that, as a manager. It's so hard to be a manager and try to manage all these different personalities. But when you get a manager that's so caring about not just you, but also your wife, your kids, your family, develops a relationship there. I mean, that makes you as a player want to go out and really, really perform for this guy. And some managers go out of their way, like he's saying with Sparky Anderson, to get to know people, to get to know their families.
Two and two the count. Worked under Alan Trammell. Worked under Bob Melvin. Worked under A.J. Hinch. And did so, I think, a little bit more understated. Boy, you heard him speaking a lot more loudly with his feelings and thoughts in that press conference. I think more understated as a bench coach. As that one is outside. And I think the thought process when Gibson was named, or even leading up over the last couple of years, if he would ever become a manager, was, Gibson a little bit more understated than we're used to as the player. Well, first of all, that's not fair. You can't ask any coach to be like they were as a player. That's kind of silly, I think. Number two, he was a coachable player. He was respectful of those that were above him. He was respectful, if you go down the pecking order, of his superiors. So you can't truly spread your wings until you are the top superior in that locker room. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And another thing that Kirk Gibson did is that he respected the game of baseball. And the way you respect that game of baseball is playing hard. And he brought that intensity. He left everything he had out on the field. No disrespect for the game at all. I guarantee you never saw him jog after a ball.
No. The way of going about your business, the way a long, long time ago when he started, he worked on going about his business as a manager. As we said, he went through some trying times as a Mets manager early in his career in the 70s. Joe's just about seen it and done it all as a manager. Gibby, a lot of it as a player and a bench coach. Gibson, of course, bench coached on that team a couple years back in Detroit. Would they lose 118, 119 games? Learn a lot about yourself and your players there. Also spent a couple of years up here in the broadcast booth, which set him back, certainly measurably. Smelling out a rat. And he is gone. Joe Torre. He saw something out there. Russell Martin executed. your bag. It is on by Blimpie, America's sub shop. Quest high-speed internet, blazing fast speeds that won't burn up your wallet. Valley Hyundai dealers, time now for the 7th inning stretch. Your dollar. Hyundai, the most fuel-efficient car maker in America. And by Sanderson Ford, Lincoln Mercury, and Volvo, too. Glad to have you back. Taking the light rail down to the ballpark. You can head over maybe in Tempe, find a place to park, maybe get a bite to eat, take the light rail in. That was a good idea. Go by the other side, go up at Central and Camelback, hop on, get a bite to eat, and ride it on in. That was a good idea. Esperling Vasquez takes over. Demmel worked the frame in front of him. And Demmel gave up a lone run. But a run that pulled the Dodgers a little bit closer. 9-5 is the score.
Yeah, they're still in striking distance. Only 4 runs down. Diamondbacks with a great start. 3-3-3 in the first 3 innings and 3 goose eggs in the next 3 innings.
It's a loving and very trusting father. Bouncing ball, and it's a foul ball. And though, as you mentioned, a manager doesn't pitch in the bullpen. Hang in there, Baxter. And he doesn't go down there and do any of the work. We'll see how this bullpen responds. They have pitched better lately. Into center field, well struck. Young with the spin and is there to make the play for the out. So Matt Campbell for 3 with a walk and a run scored and a couple of strikeouts. Sunday, July 4th, this one's for you as a special broadcast of the D-backs and Dodgers game. Fox Sports Arizona reunites members of the Arizona National Guard stationed in Iraq and their loved ones during the game. Coverage begins Sunday at 12:30. This one's for you is brought to you by your local Valley Kia retailers right here, only on Fox Sports Arizona. Andre Ethier, center field. Young is there.
2 pretty hard hit balls by Kemp and Ethier, but nice job by Young out in center field running those balls down.
Diamondbacks history, certainly another chapter written today, and that is someone who is well aware of the highest highs and some of the lowest lows. That's on a single hat there with some pins. Walk down memory lane. That's good stuff. And that man's certainly part of it now. The Arizona bullpen in their last 5 games, 14-inning pitch, no long balls allowed, a 3.21 ERA. 3.21 ERA.
Yeah, it's more like it.
They have actually dropped it below 7. It's below 7. I understand that's high, Candyman. You're looking at me sideways.
There was a time it was over 8.
It did sneak over 8 for a brief blip on the radar screen in South Florida. We try and forget about those days.
I'm just saying it's on the decline.
The 0-2. Change up, pulled it in. It came into this inning at 6.99. One and 2 the count. Change up. Kind of babied that one in there, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he's got a really good fastball and he's got a really good changeup. But I think it's important for him to come out and establish his fastball. And don't be afraid to go inside and then come back with that changeup. A lot of times we'll see Vasquez come out and try to establish his changeup before his fastball. And he gets out of sync.
I love the go inside part of what you're talking about.
It's important. I mean, to pitch inside and be able to hold runners on. Those are 2 glaring weaknesses.
There's that fastball, blows him away after a changeup. 1, 2, 3, and a solid inning out of that bullpen. Time now for the Valley Hyundai dealers. 7th inning stretch. Your dollar. Stand up at home.
Post-game show, Todd Walsh, Joe Borowski. Joe, we were talking about the need to see hunger from these Arizona Diamondbacks in the wake of the events of the last 24 hours. Did you see that hunger?
This is just what Gibby was talking about earlier. Play with fire and passion, and the D-backs responded with a 9 spot in the first 3 innings. Bigger question is, can they sustain that fire and seal the deal?
I think the real question is, will you pay up in the pari-mutuel wagering for the Legends race? I fleeced you.
Yeah, I lost.
I had the trifecta. He didn't, Darren, and he owes me money. Back to you.
Well, pay up. You got a big leaguer out there. Adam LaRose, fly ball center field. And the play is made there to retire. There they are. By the way, as far as the paying up part, there may be something. It's being reviewed right now. And the camp for Mark Grace, and I'm certainly not in that camp. I'm telling you, I want him last every time. But the camp supporting Mark Grace, they have seen something. Watch Manny Ramirez, lower right. Look at this. Randall Simon-esque out of the gates. And a bit of a stumble there. I mean, a very small stumble. But Manny clearly did not want Gracie to win.
Yep, the sniper almost got him there with the towel.
And Randall Simon was never the same.
You know, Gracie might be the first one to take a header on that.
I think so. I mean, look, these are the people that are supporting Gracie in this race. And again, I want to make it clear, I am not one. Breaking ball into Dandy. That's strike 3. So Abreu goes down on strikes. Here's another angle. Look at Manny. He had other shots at other players. He wanted Gracie. Manny certainly is not going to mess with Randy Johnson. I promise you that. Gracie will be back. Mark Grace on Sunday. He's on network assignment. I have no idea where he is. Parra fouls it off. We've asked around. Nobody knows. And we've determined that no one cares. Yeah, we're really giving him the business. He is in Atlanta. The 0-1. Miller drops down sidearm. (9-5) the score. That pitch is up and away. I believe the count 3-1, I believe.
I think you are correct.
Well, we're about to find out. Yep, ball 4. So Gerardo Parra draws the walk. Taking a look ahead at what's brewing, brought to you by our good friends with the Miller Brewing Company. Both games on Fox Sports Arizona. Again, remember tomorrow's game a bit later. Honestly, when I saw that a moment ago, that's the first time I knew of it. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock, on the air, 6:40, but then the fireworks, that makes sense. Clayton Kershaw, boy, he is a gifted young left-hander. You know, everyone speaks of Ubaldo Jimenez, and they should, but he's maybe a year away from being Ubaldo Jimenez. I mean, incredible stuff, and Rodrigo's had a wonderful season to follow. Really proud of what Rodrigo Lopez has accomplished.
Unfortunately for Rodrigo, he's gone up against some pretty good starters. Seems like he's always the guy drawing the other team's number 1.
He gets another one.
There you go again, right?
Augie Ojeda called upon to pinch hit. 2-0 the count. You can hear down below Augie's biggest fan, Jim Weber, getting the Augie, 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 oi, oi, oi chant going. And Augie, you won't get him no matter if he's had a handful of plate appearances or a couple of hundred. He's not going to chase. He's going to give you his best at bat. He is this year just 5 of 36. There we go. Walk for Augie Ojeda. Well, maybe, just maybe, this club's so successful with 2 outs. We've been calling for some add-on. It may happen right now.
Back-to-back walks. It advances the lineup, turns the lineup over. Next thing you know, you got the top of the order, Krishan, who's had a great night already with a couple RBIs and a couple runs scored.
Aaron Heilman has a baseball out there. So again, Kirk Gibson saying before the game that the bullpen will be evaluated and reevaluated, and he'll continue to make some decisions. Right now we see Heilman warming, it looks like, to come into the ball game. That would be in the 8th inning.
And he's really more suited for that 7th, 8th inning role.
And then the 9th would be?
I'm guessing it would be Juan Gutierrez.
Juan Gutierrez. High drive, deep left field. Chris Young just kissed it.
Way to make it hurt. Back-to-back walks. Chris Young having a wonderful night, hitting in the leadoff spot. And goes deep, a big 3-run shot. Gets some more tack-on runs.
A Bolton Holmes home run, first one of the ball game, $150 to the Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. There's your leadoff hitter. 5 RBIs, a single, a double, and a homer. 5 runs batted in, tying his career high.
Do you think he likes hitting leadoff?
12-5 is the score. We will see how that bullpen reassigns itself now with a 7-run lead. Kelly with a home run cut. Nice moment there with LaRoche and CY. That one bounces in there.
Martin setting up away like a slider, caught a lot of the plate. And Young just doesn't miss it. He might not have got to that pitch last year. This year he is.
The 3rd time he has reached 5 RBIs this season. This won't be easy. Charging, fielding, firing for Paul, just got it. But the add-on we were talking about, walk to Parra, walk to Ojeda. Chris Young, leadoff hitter for the first time in a long time. Homer. Yet from July 4th through the 8th, you can vote for the 34th and final player for each league roster. Check in on dbacks.com on Sunday, July 4th, to see who made the team and who should get the 34th and final spot on each league roster. I would imagine that man will receive strong consideration.
And rightfully so.
The depth chart with Casey Blake taking a pitch into the dirt, 1-1 the count, changing up at second base a little bit. We saw Adam LaRoche, we saw Kelly Johnson a moment ago, but Chase Utley out of the picture. So the depth chart changes up a little bit for second, and Kelly Johnson, I would imagine the man who replaced Martin Prado should be the starter in the All-Star game for the National League from Atlanta. But Kelly, he may have a chance to receive consideration as well. Aaron Heilman going to work. Sinker, changeup, and a slider. And that's not Aaron-like as he files that one high and away. Fires, I should say. "35 appearances this year. Truly, from start to finish, the most dependable relief pitcher. Buried that fastball in. Keep coming, young man. He does. Gerardo Parra is there to make the play for the out. Our Home Depot, doing more on defense, brought to you by the good friends and partners with the Home Depot. All the way back earlier in this ball game, second inning. Nice job by Tony Abreu there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he hung in there. Casey Blake's sliding out there trying to clip him with the spikes. He has trouble with the transfer and still throws a rocket over to first to complete that double play.
Heilman suffered a blown save on that road trip. Matter of fact, Heilman had somewhat of a dubious occurrence in a couple of blown saves in succession. Garrett Anderson into right center field. That's a base hit. He actually managed, and it was frustrating for him whether it was errors or walks. He actually managed to suffer a couple of blown saves, one against the Yankees, one against St. Louis, without giving up hits in either one. That'll leave you kicking yourself.
It does. You know, it's the walks. You know, kind of some shabby fielding.
And one of his own errors, one of his own throwing errors, served as his undoing. Came back though and got the save on June the 30th on getaway day. Right down the middle to Russell Martin. 0-1 the count.
Trying to make him move his feet right there. Very effective pitch. Fastball down and in. The purpose of pitching inside is to make a hitter uncomfortable. And they don't like getting those balls down around their ankles and knees.
Look out, up and into the Dodgers dugout it goes. The Diamondbacks have lost 7 straight to the Dodgers. Their last win, April 14th in LA, was a 9-7 win. Got him out front. There's that changeup. What a pitch. Whenever you get a hitter to give himself up like that, you've done your job.
Well, he threw enough fastballs. Remember that one in, and then he gets that changeup out over the plate. Martin loses a little bit of that backside and pops it up. That's a great pitch. Your job as a pitcher is to upset timing. And he talked to any hitting coach. Hitting is all about timing.
Aaron against Blake DeWitt. And on the move, Garrett Anderson with the tag. And he swiped it. He went on across Abreu trying to pop a tag on there. First stolen base of the year, Garrett Anderson.
Well, and the reason for that is, you know, they have a scouting report. They have advanced scouts, and they've seen how people run on the relievers of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And the reason is that they just fail. They just fail to end up, you know, checking runners, holding runners on, paying attention to them. You know, even in a game that when you're down by 7 runs, they still feel that, you know, they can swipe that base, you know, pretty easily.
Garrett's 80th career stolen base. Kirk Gibson wants to steal more bases and give up fewer stolen bases, as that one is low. 1-1 the count. If you joined us earlier, he sought out a pitchers meeting. Mel Stoudemire Jr. speaking with his pitchers and began his conversation. Took a few moments as he says he's going to walk the outfield a lot. And he talked about holding runners close. LaRoche plays it so effectively, gobbles it up to the bag in time for the out. Aaron Heilman with a scoreless frame. 3 more outs to get. Bluebell ice cream. We got up into the 112s, 113s today. It was a hot, hot day. A big bowl before I came in. Bluebell ice cream. Taking a peek at our out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by State Farm. What is going on with the Reds? What a great year they are having. And the Chicago Cubs would be the antithesis. They are having a terrible season. Atlanta beating Florida in 11 innings. A.J. Ellis is behind the plate catching for the Dodgers. Justin Upton puts that one on the ground and in time for the out. Blake DeWitt makes the play. Here's A.J. Ellis. So anyway, the Reds break them up.
Can't stop them right now.
No, it's a good thing. Bronson Arroyo, 6 shutout innings today. The final 3 outs recorded as he struck out the side by Micah Owings in a 12-0 win. Brandon Phillips and hard-hitting Joey Votto pitched in. 2-0 the count to Miguel Montero. Two and one the count. The 2-1. Miggy lines it into left center field. It's down for a base hit. Man, sorry about that, partner.
I mean, this guy can hit. He likes those balls out over the plate. There's so many balls to center field, to left center field. We've seen them go down the left field line. We were joking with Joe Garagiola Sr. tonight, talking to him about how Montero kind of reminds me of Yogi Berra, one of his personal friends. The way he looks sometimes, the way he talks is funny. The energy that he has for the game.
Joe will be joining us in the broadcast booth tomorrow night, serving in your chair as a color analyst. It is always our treat. If you didn't have a reason to tune in already, you certainly do now. Be on the air at 6, game 6:40, and Joe Garagiola will join us as our color analyst tomorrow.
You can listen to Joe talk, tell his stories. Unbelievable. I still have a book when I was a kid from Joe Garagiola. I don't remember the name of the funny side of baseball or something like that.
He's been published a bunch of times.
Baseball is a very funny game.
Yeah. And if you've watched the Diamondbacks as much as we have this year, tough to figure at times. Pretty good pitch. Didn't get the call. 2-1 the count. 5 runs, 10 hits, and an error for the Dodgers. They've stranded 6. 12 runs, 13 hits, and an error for the D-backs. They've stranded 5. Adam, deep left field. And home run distance on that one, but a little bit foul. He's ready to roll. High fly left. Garrett Anderson will ease on under that one and put it away. 3 outs to get, and Kirk Gibson is 1-0 as a manager. That man wants a souvenir, so does Gibby. Gibson got together with his team. Right away, there was a lot of leadership. And when he brought out the lineup card, Chris Young was batting leadoff. That one turned out all right tonight. You won't always have the Midas touch as a manager, but you like to have it in your first game.
Boy, you hit gold right there, and he struck oil. What a night for Chris Young. Boy, a home run, a double, a single, scored 3 runs, 5 ribbies.
Ronnie Belliard gets ready to go to work. Blaine Boyer takes the baseball. On the counter, Ronnie. Belliard opening the season as the starting second baseman for the Dodgers, meaning the end for Orlando Hudson, who is with the first place Minnesota Twins. Ronnie right to Mark Reynolds. Easy chance there, just a soft little pop up. 1 out. Scalded that breaking ball.
Wow. React. Look what I found.
So here's Rafael Furcal. Singled in 4 trips, scored a run. 23,155 on hand for this ball game tonight. To see the Diamondbacks roll out some serious offense. 12 runs this evening. That pitch is in. Last couple of outings, both on the road trip, Boyer has not been scored upon. An inning and 2/3 scoreless. Fly ball, Young, closing speed, has it get by him for a call with a huge turn.
Just kind of goes with the pitch, hit from the left side, just kind of dunks it out there in short left center field. Not much Young could do about that. He, for a moment, looked like he was going to run in and dive for that ball, but let it drop, and it's a hit, another hit for Furcal.
Pitch is outside. May 19th at home, the Diamondbacks scored 13 runs against San Francisco. May 19th. It's July 2nd. That's the last time they raised their batting average, their offensive output to 12 runs or better. That man had 5 RBIs tonight. One and one the count.
Boyer sometimes just surprises you. 96 miles an hour on that 2-seamer. Lane has a fine line. When he's thigh high, not good. When he's about knee high to shin high, he's very effective. A very minor adjustment, but an adjustment that he needs to make to be successful.
Kemp is hitting 21 of his 22 career starts in this ballpark. 7 in a row. Not tonight, though. Not yet. 1 strike away from having that quiet down a bit anyway. Little topper back to the screen on the line. He would like to forget June. The month of June, Kemp hit just .208. Only walked 8 times while striking out 33 times. I'm in the business of being scared of Matt Kemp no matter what he's doing, to be honest with you folks.
He's a real dynamic player.
The 2-2. We'll do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He's jumped it up from 96. The last pitch, or 2 pitches ago, was 97. And this last one, a 2-seam fastball, was 98.
He's always had the gifted arm. It's the execution, the confidence, the mechanics, and then repeating all those things. Bouncing ball up the ladder. Mark Reynolds, what a play! They do not end the ball game, but what a play by the Diamondbacks third baseman, Mark Reynolds.
Boy, it certainly was. This ball is hit by Kemp off the ground, a high chopper. And Reynolds goes well up, catches this ball before it goes into left field, and still comes down and whizzes that ball over to Kelly Johnson, second base. And they almost completed a double play. Checking for Gibby's reaction.
Here's Andre Ethier. Fastball 98 miles an hour is low.
It's just a little bit of a matter of locating the ball southward. Gets out of thigh high. If you get that ball down from shin to knee, it'll be a good one.
Ethier lifts it to left field, racing back is Parra. He won't be able to play it. Oh, what a great piece of hitting. Johnson and Ethier try and share that bag area together. And Ethier in with a double.
Oh, you're right. You talked about a good piece of hitting. He's letting Boyer supply all the power. R2, this one's elevated. That's thigh high. And he's able to get underneath that ball and not hit the top of the ball and drive that ball over Parr's head. And just effortlessly with that swing.
Ethier with 3 hits. 93 in his career against the Diamondbacks. 93 hits in his career against Arizona since 07. I should say 06. No one has more. That pitch up and in. 1-0 the count. Sam Demmel allowed a single run. And scoreless frames out of that bullpen. Vasquez, Heilman in the 7th and the 8th. Slicing it. Foul. 1-1 the count. Casey Blake waits on deck. Two and 1 the count as that one sails up and out of the zone. 23,155 on hand tonight. Expecting a big crowd tomorrow night, Sunday as well. And the Cubs come to town. The 2-1. 3-1 the count.
It goes back to what you were saying about being able to repeat your delivery. And with the good of stuff that Boyer has, he just hasn't quite been able to repeat that delivery. And that's why you see an erratic location with this fastball.
Out to short, gobbled up there. Aha! By Abreu. In time for the out. Kirk Gibson is 1-0 as a major league manager. Jerry Dipoto, his opportunity to begin his general manager's career. Interim bases, both off to good starts for those resumes. Arizona, all the ball players, those that I think many feel were responsible with the last couple of days of bad news for some. The ball players, really, that's the story tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is. And, Chris Young really sparked this team tonight, getting moved by Kirk Gibson up to the leadoff spot. Well, he absolutely responded. 3 hits, 5 RBIs, scored 3 runs, hit the home run, the big home run in the 7th inning. But really, it's the players, it's the pitchers, it's everything as a unit.
and they played a good, solid game tonight.
Sparky Anderson, Tommy Lasorda, Roger Craig would all be proud of Kirk Gibson tonight. All the influences on Gibby. The former tight end out of Michigan State. There's the baseball for him. Let's get it on out to the post-game show. I know Todd and Joe put in a long day here already. It's about to get longer. Plenty to talk about tonight. Guys, the Quest Diamondbacks Live post-game show. Take it.